Province S, Friday, 1800 hours capital time. It was an ordinary evening. The sunset dyed the skyline tangerine orange, and distant high-rises glinted with golden light that streamed through the windows and spilled across the floor. Yuan curled up on the sofa, potato chips in her left hand and cola in her right, eyes glued to a Korean drama on her iPad. Crumbles of tomato seasoning lingered at the corner of her mouth. On screen, the male and female leads had just resolved a misunderstanding, standing face to face in the rain amid thick, charged romantic tension. "Ah, it's so sweet," the male lead finally confessed. Overcome with excitement, she rolled across the sofa, her long hair tangling all over her face. Yuan, lay off the snacks. Dinner will be ready soon," her mother's voice drifted out from the kitchen. "Okay, Mom," Yuan meekly replied, yet slipped 2 more chips into her mouth from the bag. She thought to herself, "I'll stop once this bag's empty." The air conditioner hummed in the living room. Her mom stirred food in the kitchen, the clink of a spatula mingling with the rich aroma of cooking oil drifting inside. Her father hadn't gotten off work yet, but he'd texted to say he was on his way home and would arrive within half an hour. This was just another ordinary Friday evening for the Yuan household. No one could have guessed it would be Blue Planet's last normal dusk. Suddenly, the sky blazed bright. It was not the fleeting, searing flash of lightning, nor the harsh glare of sunlight at midday. Across the entire firmament, stretching from the horizon all the way up to the heavens, a massive translucent blue light curtain materialized out of nowhere. The curtain blanketed every inch of the sky without a single blind spot, as if a glowing luminous film had been draped over Blue Planet. At that exact second, a mechanical electronic voice echoed inside the mind of every human on the planet. The voice bore no trace of gender, age, or accent, yet carried an unshakable aura of absolute authority. Alongside the voice, gigantic golden characters bloomed across the blue sky curtain, each stroke crisp and precise, as if measured with a ruler. No matter where one stood or which direction they gazed upward, the words floated dead center in their field of vision. Galaxy-wide announcement. Yuan's bag of potato chips slipped from her grasp, and her iPad slid off her knees. She did not notice a thing. She simply tilted her head upward, staring blankly through the ceiling and every solid barrier, straight at the glowing text suspended in the sky. The mechanical voice continued ringing inside her head. In 72 hours, Blue Planet will suffer an irreversible meteorite impact. The global ecosystem will collapse completely afterward, and the end-of-world countdown has officially begun. Per Article 7, Chapter 3 of the Interstellar Civilization Rescue Convention, the Planetary Salvation Protocol shall activate immediately. The clinking of the spatula in the kitchen fell silent. Yuan heard her mother's quick footsteps rushing out of the kitchen, slippers tapping hurriedly against the floorboards. The golden text across the sky shifted, new lines unfolding one after another. Salvation Plan 1. All healthy individuals aged 18 to 45 on Blue Planet will be transported to Star Moxing to undergo an ocean survival trial. All remaining people, those under 18 or over 45, will remain on Blue Planet. The meteorite collision will be temporarily frozen in time. Should every survivor on Star Moxing perish, Blue Planet and all life upon it will be annihilated instantly. All survivors may earn rare Lord tokens through their own efforts to build private island territories. Survivors without Lord tokens, as well as all residents staying on Blue Planet, may be recruited as subjects under a Lord, who holds absolute ruling power over their people. A live Sky broadcast of the entire survival trial will stream to all residents remaining on Blue Planet. Stay-behinds may freely view any survivor participant's feed and provide essential aid to players later on. Every player eligible for transport to Star Moxing will soon receive a marking and official notification. A cold voice instantly echoed in Yuan's mind. "Congratulations, player Yuan. You will be teleported to a wooden raft on Star Moxing's ocean in 3 days' time. No belongings other than the clothes on your body may be taken. Please prepare accordingly." A glowing white band materialized around her wrist, stark and unmissable. Countdown: 71 hours, 59 minutes, and 58 seconds. The numbers flickered downward. 71 hours, 59 minutes. 57 seconds. 56 seconds. 55 seconds. Yuan stared at the digits, her mind racing. She was 22, right inside the eligible age bracket. Her mother was 48, her father 51. Both were over the limit. Healthy individuals? Healthy? She glanced down at herself. Born prematurely, she'd spent a full month in an incubator. Frail from childhood, she caught colds every seasonal shift, gasped for breath after a short jog, suffered low blood sugar and mild anemia. Her last physical exam showed her physical fitness score ranked in the bottom 3% of people her age. How could someone with her physique qualify as a healthy individual? Are you serious? She muttered quietly. A doctor would sigh looking at my medical report, and I count as healthy? Is this system standard for health ridiculously low, or are blue planet humans generally this out of shape? The more she thought about it, the more absurd it felt. By this metric, what would someone truly robust count as? Super healthy? Peak perfect health? But the voice and glowing text ignored her doubts, pressing on with the announcement. The golden writing faded slowly from the sky, leaving only the hovering countdown digits suspended over the world like a cold, unblinking eye watching every corner of Blue Planet. Yuan. Her mother burst into the living room, her gaze locking onto the white band around her daughter's wrist at once. Tears welled instantly in her eyes. She yanked Yuan upright from the sofa, cupping her daughter's face in both hands, scanning every inch as if she wanted to engrave her features into her memory forever. "Mom, listen to me." Her mother's voice trembled yet remained clear. "You saw the salvation plan, right? Your father and I are both past 45, so we'll stay here on Blue Planet. The meteor strike is frozen in time. As long as you're alive, it will never hit. Your father and I will be safe, so don't worry about us." "Mom, let me finish." Her mother's voice rose sharply before softening again, fingers digging into Yuan's shoulders until her knuckles whitened. "You were premature with a weak constitution. Don't push yourself once you're there. Don't pick fights, but don't let others bully you either. Don't run too hard. Put on extra layers when you're cold, eat whenever you're hungry, don't hold back." "Mom," Yuan's voice cracked. "Loosen up a little, you're hurting me." Her mother snapped out of it and pulled her hands away, her eyes growing redder still. Yuan. Her father's voice echoed from the doorway. He'd clearly sprinted straight home from work, suit jacket discarded, 2 buttons undone on his shirt, sweat dripping down his forehead. His eyes swept over Yuan's face before landing firmly on the glowing white band around her wrist. The moment he saw it, his lips pressed into a tight line. He strode across the room in 3 quick steps and pulled both Yuan and her mother into a tight embrace. Yuan was their only child. Her mother had fallen while pregnant with her, sending her into labor 7 months early. She weighed a mere 1 kilogram 200 grams at birth, tiny as a kitten, and spent nearly a month in an incubator before she could be taken home. Growing up, she was always the one sitting under the trees watching her classmates run during PE class. Once in junior high, she collapsed mid-800-meter run, face ashen, and her mother cried on the phone for an hour out of terror. Her parents poured every ounce of their care into her. They shared a loving marriage and doted on their daughter without reserve, never speaking a harsh word to her, raising her as their most precious treasure. Yuan sometimes thought she was lucky. For all her poor health, heaven had given her the best parents imaginable. Yuan, her father's deep, steady voice rumbled above her head. "Listen to Dad. We have 3 days left on the countdown. We won't go anywhere during this time. We'll stay together. We'll learn wilderness survival skills together. They'll help you once you arrive there." Yuan buried her face in his chest and let out a muffled hum. Her mother sniffled beside them, dabbing at her tear-streaked eyes before clapping her hands briskly. "All right, that's settled. I'll dig out the old tablet from the study to watch survival tutorials nonstop. Your father will sort out the first aid kit and pack all the essential medicines for you to memorize. The transport won't carry physical goods, but you'll have the knowledge stored in your head." "And not tying," her father added, already mentally drafting a checklist. "I've watched documentaries. Rope knots are fundamental for ocean survival. I learned several styles during my military service. 3 days is enough time to teach you all the vital ones." Watching her parents immediately slip into emergency preparation mode, the tight knot of anxiety in Yuan's chest eased slightly. She glanced upward at the still flickering countdown glowing across the sky. The golden digits blazed harsh against the peach-pink sunset haze. That live Sky broadcast, her mother swallowed hard, "Your father, and I will watch it every second, without fail. No matter what you go through, remember, Mom and Dad are always with you." Yuan lifted her head from her father's embrace and met her mother's bloodshot eyes. Her throat tightened, and she nearly burst into tears. She held them back, blinking rapidly to force the moisture away, then curved her lips into the brightest smile she could muster. "I got it," she said with a feigned air of confidence. "You'll get to see just how awesome your lovely daughter can be." Her parents exchanged a glance, neither calling out how hollow that claim sounded. They knew better than anyone her greatest talent, sitting motionless for 6 straight hours munching chips and binging dramas without shifting an inch. Yuan spotted the deep worry lingering in their eyes, her heart heavy. She knew what they feared, that their daughter, unable to finish an 800-meter jog, would never survive in a completely alien world. She thought for a moment and chose to comfort them in the way they understood best. "Mom, do you remember when I fell in 4th grade?" Yuan asked out of the blue. Her mother blinked in surprise. "Why bring that up all of a sudden?" "When I tumbled down the stairs, it hurt so badly I thought the world was ending, but it only left a shallow scrape. I was bored out of my mind during my hospital stay, so I filled out a random raffle slip by the lobby counter." Yuan crinkled her eyes in a grin. "And we won that 3-day family cruise trip I'd always dreamed of." Her mother opened her mouth but said nothing. Her father let out a quiet chuckle. "And that time in college, you both remember too." Yuan stretched out a leg to mime slipping. "I stepped on a banana peel and crashed flat on my back, my knee black and blue for weeks. That same night, I retweeted a random giveaway post and won the brand new flagship Fruit smartphone. My classmates called me the luckiest person alive, said my superpower was stumbling into good fortune." Her smile faded, and she locked eyes with her parents, speaking slowly and earnestly. "Dad, Mom, think of all the misfortunes I've had growing up. Sprained wrists, bumps and falls, fevers and colds landing me in hospital, countless incidents. But every single time, something good came out of it in the end. Don't worry about me. I'm the kind of person who, what's the saying? After extreme adversity comes good fortune," her father supplied. "Exactly, after extreme adversity comes good fortune. It'll be the same on Star Moxing." Yuan balled her fists in a determined gesture. "Maybe I'll fall overboard on day 1, and a massive treasure chest will float right to me the next morning." Her mother laughed through her tears and pinched her cheek lightly. "Silly child, why use falling into the ocean as an example?" Still, the heavy tension in the room lifted noticeably. For the next 3 days, the Yuan household entered an unprecedented intensive training routine. On the first morning, her father emptied the entire first aid kit and walked her through every supply one by one. "This is iodophor for disinfection. Rinse wounds with clean water first, then dab this on. These sterile gauze pads go directly over the injury before wrapping with bandages. Don't wrap bandages too tight, you'll cut off circulation and cause tissue death, but not so loose they slide right off for nothing." As he spoke, he demonstrated wrapping and unwrapping bandages on her arm repeatedly until Yuan could tie a proper medical knot on her own. Yuan jotted every instruction down, drawing small diagrams beside her notes for reference. Afternoon was dedicated to knot tying drills. Her father dragged a bundle of old nylon rope out of storage and spread it across the living room floor. Sitting across from her, his fingers twisted fluidly through the cord. "This is an overhand stopper knot to secure rope ends and stop them slipping free. A square knot links 2 separate lengths of rope. The bowline is the classic rescue knot, tightens when pulled, loosens with a push, and won't constrict or strangle you if looped around your body." Yuan had small hands and little strength. Her knots kept unraveling no matter how hard she tried. Her father remained patient, repeating each lesson over and over. By the second night, she could tie a perfect bowline with her eyes closed. On the second day, the whole family watched wilderness survival documentaries together. The tablet propped up on the dining table, the 3 huddled side by side, scribbling notes as they watched. The 3 core survival necessities, water, fire, shelter, her mother repeated constantly. Fresh water matters far more than food. Humans die after 3 days without water, but can survive weeks without eating suicide, her father added. An expert on screen demonstrated how to filter seawater. Yuan fixed her gaze on the footage, memorizing every detail rapidly. She'd always possessed a sharp memory, capable of cramming enough material to pass an exam in one all-nighter. What she learned now might well save her life. Kelp, nori, and other seaweed are everywhere in the ocean. Rinse them clean and they're edible, packed with iodine and vitamins. If you spot any shellfish you don't recognize, check first. There should be a system identifier tool there, right? Her mother sounded uncertain. "Fish too," her father cut in. "You don't have much strength, so forget spearing fish, it's not practical." You can make a simple fishing net, weave rope into a pouch, bait it, sink it underwater, and wait for fish to swim inside. Yuan listened intently, her notebook filled with over a dozen crumpled pages of increasingly messy handwriting, packed with notes, fashioning makeshift water filters from clothing, reading wind direction, preserving materials with seawater and mud. On the third night, she flipped through the notebook cover to cover, then closed it and set it on her knees, staring blankly at the front cover for several seconds. She knew she could not take the book with her, but every word inside was etched permanently into her mind. 1,700 hours on the third night, only 1 hour remained on the countdown. The three sat silent in the living room, none daring to break the quiet. Yuan's mother pulled her into another long, lingering hug. When she finally let go, Yuan saw her eyes red once more, yet not a single tear fell. Yuan, her mother's voice trembled, though a faint smile tugged at her lips. Put on this sweater I knitted for you. Nights out on the ocean get cold. It won't count as extra contraband, and you can unravel the yarn to weave fishing nets or other supplies if you need to. Earlier, Yuan had tried to exploit a loophole by piling layers of clothes and blankets over yourself, only to trigger a system warning. Aside from one seasonal outfit, she could bring a maximum of 1 extra sweater. She now took in the garment her mother had rushed to finish over these past days, soft cream white, her favorite color, with a tiny pink embroidered flower stitched at the neckline. Her throat tightened, and she could not utter a single word. Don't cry, her mother brushed away stray tears that had seeped from Yuan's eyes without her noticing. If you cry once you're transported, everyone watching the Sky livestream will see you. How embarrassing would that be? Yuan burst out laughing at her mother's remark, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks all the same. Her father stepped forward and wrapped both mother and daughter in his arms. Yuan, he murmured in her ear, his voice steady as a mountain. Don't forget all the knots I taught you. Once you arrive, locate fresh water first, then find a way to start a fire. Above all, keep yourself safe. Yuan nodded hard, burying her face in the crook of his shoulder and drawing in a deep breath, the scent of laundry detergent mixed with his faint tobacco aroma. The moment the countdown hit 0, blinding white light swallowed everything. Yuan's body turned weightless. She strained to keep her eyes open, desperate to catch one final glimpse of her parents amid the radiance. She saw her mother frozen mid-hug, a soft, gentle smile fixed on her face. She saw her father's arm wrapped around her mother, his lips parted as if mid-sentence, maybe words of encouragement, a promise to wait for her, or simply her name. Then everything vanished into nothingness. The next second, Yuan caught the salty tang of seawater. It was not the artificial saltiness tainted with disinfectant from swimming pools, but an authentic, intense oceanic scent crashing over her, mingled with fishy odor, algae, and thick mineral brine. She opened her eyes and found herself perched on a tiny wooden raft, surrounded by boundless seawater stretching to the horizon. Dark blue water rippled gently around the raft. Sunlight seeped through cracks in the pale gray clouds, scattering shards of golden light across the sea surface. The air was colder than she'd imagined, carrying a sharp chill that raised tiny goosebumps all over her exposed arms. Kneeling on the raft, Yuan spent a full 10 seconds processing 3 harsh realities. First, the teleportation had succeeded. Second, she was adrift on a completely unfamiliar ocean. Third, the raft beneath her rear was shoddily cobbled together from nothing but a few broken planks and rusty iron nails. She glanced down at her own clothes, a plain white t-shirt, denim shorts, and sneakers. The pale glowing band wrapped around her wrist was identical to how it had looked for the past 3 days, clinging quietly to her skin with a faint soft luminescence. She reached out to touch it. There was no tactile sensation at all, yet the luminous band was undeniably there. All right then, Yuan took a deep breath and muttered to herself. You've got this, Yuan. It's just ocean survival, right? You binged survival documentaries for 3 straight days, practiced tying 100 different knots, and memorized pages of notes. You've got the knowledge, She glanced at her scrawny arms and legs. Planting her hands firmly on her hips, she finished her thought, and you've got 1 in a million luck. The raft was minuscule. Yuan estimated it spanned roughly 4 square meters, barely enough space for one person to lie flat. A single clumsy roll in her sleep would send her tumbling straight into the sea. In one corner of the raft sat a light brown wooden chest, about the size of a school backpack. Its rough surface scraped against her palms when she touched it, and a fishing rod leaned crookedly against its side. Yes, just one fishing rod. It was no professional deep-sea angling rod, merely a basic amateur model, a bamboo shaft, thin fishing line, a tiny hook, and a red float strung onto the line. It looked like something snatched casually from a tiny convenience store in a fishing village. Yuan picked up the rod and weighed it in her hands. It felt absurdly light. Is this thing even capable of catching fish? She murmured quietly to herself. She was about to set the rod back down when a crisp ding echoed in her vision, and a translucent blue interface popped open before her eyes. It bore an uncanny resemblance to the announcement screen she'd seen on Planet Blue 3 days prior, yet its content was entirely different. This new interface was far more polished, topped with a line of gleaming golden text, MO Ocean Survival System, Official Activation. A cold mechanical electronic voice began to broadcast as lines of text simultaneously materialized across the blue screen. Welcome to MO all survivors from Planet Blue. Please read the basic ocean survival rules below carefully. Yuan instantly sat up straighter, holding her breath. Rule 1. On MO every survivor has only one life. Death is permanent. There is no resurrection or reset. Cherish your life and strive to survive at all costs. Rule 2. Each survivor will be granted a personal stat panel. The pale luminous band on your wrist will transform into an interactive bracelet. Tap it to view your individual stats. Prioritize raising every stat, as these values directly determine your odds of surviving on MO Rule 3. All survivors receive a standard starting supply pack: 1 4-square-meter wooden raft, 1 basic bamboo fishing rod, 1 wooden treasure chest. The quantity of supplies obtainable from chests is entirely luck-based. Survivors may use their fishing rods to reel in various supplies, treasure chests, and rare special items from MO ocean waters. Rule 4. MO seas teem with unknown creatures and lethal hazards. Do not enter the water without proper equipment. Remember, the ocean is deadly. Rule 5. All survivors are currently under a 7-day novice protection period. While the protection lasts, you will be relatively safe on your raft. Use these 7 days to adapt to your surroundings and stockpile supplies to withstand the trials awaiting you once protection expires. Rule 6. Earn experience points as quickly as possible. Upon reaching level 10, the class system will unlock. You may choose to advance as either a mage or a body cultivator based on your innate talents. Each class unlocks exclusive skill trees and unique progression paths. Rule 7. Treasure chest tiers, ordered from lowest to highest: wooden chest, iron chest, bronze chest, silver chest, gold chest, diamond chest, obsidian chest. Item and blueprint tiers, ordered from lowest to highest: common white, intermediate green, advanced blue, fine purple, epic orange, legendary gold. Tiered blueprints only spawn starting from iron chests. Wooden chests never contain blueprints, while iron chests have a chance to drop common white blueprints. Rule 8. These are all survival rules authorized for release at this stage. All remaining rules and system functions are left for survivors to discover independently. MO is vast. May you live until the very end. A chill ran down Yuan's spine as she read through the regulations. Everything was terrifyingly real. Fall overboard and drown, starve without food, get attacked by sea monsters, and death here was irreversible. This was no game, no simulation, no virtual world where you could respawn after dying. Sigh. She pushed the gloomy thoughts aside. She preferred to trust in her luck instead. Yuan glanced down at the fishing rod and wooden chest in her hands. So this was the standard starting loadout, just like in those survival novels she'd read. The rules promised 7 days of novice protection. She would use every second of that window to hoard supplies. Yet the wording stated she was only relatively safe on the raft, meaning fatal danger could still strike at any moment. The system's closing line echoed relentlessly in her mind. MO is vast. May you live until the very end. It sounded like a thinly veiled subtext: most of you won't make it to the finish line. She shook her head to banish those ominous thoughts, then tentatively tapped the pale luminous bracelet wrapped around her wrist. A small icon popped open with a soft snap, revealing the full system panel spread out before her. At the very top of the screen hung prominent regional information: current zone, Zone 888, survivor count, 99,997/100,000. Yuan froze. 3 people were already gone? Had 3 survivors died the instant they arrived? She gasped in shock. How is that possible? Everyone had just been listening to the rules, hadn't they? Before she could process this horrifying news, her gaze drifted to the information bar in the top left corner. First came environmental data, weather, clear time, 7:05 temperature, 19 degrees Celsius. Beneath it lay her detailed personal stats, personal ID, 886699 nickname, Yuan editable level, 0 experience, 0 out of 10. Strength, 0.1. Your strength ranks lower than 99.99 of all survivors. A single punch from you would barely tickle a squeaky chicken. Evaluation from an unidentified system module. Stamina, 0.1. Your stamina ranks lower than 99.99 of all survivors. You might stand a chance of winning a race against a tortoise. Agility, 0.2. Your agility ranks lower than 99.99 of all survivors. If you fought a squeaky chicken, the odds would lean 3:7 against you. It lands 3 hits, you end up dead. Note, the initial maximum value for these 3 base stats is 10. Magic, 0. 0 unawakened. Even if you awaken magic, you'll likely remain a fragile glass cannon. Energy, 100 out of 100. Who would have guessed such a dramatic soul dwells within your frail frame health? 100 out of 100. This is the only stat you share equally with every other survivor. Luck. Data anomaly strange. Luck value cannot be detected. Overall rating. F. You are an exceptionally weak little chick. Right after the stat list, the system popped up a blunt concluding evaluation, ever so helpfully. Dear survivor, your physical fitness ranks dead last among the 100,000 participants. We sincerely advise you to avoid all strenuous activity, including but not limited to running, jumping, swimming, rowing, and speaking at high volume. This public service announcement is offered for your personal safety. You're welcome. Staring at the stats that didn't even hit 1, the humiliating F rank, and the line declaring her dead last, Yuan couldn't help a bitter, exasperated laugh. Dead last. Out of 100,000 people. If she ranked absolute worst, why had the system classified her as a viable candidate and sent her out to sea to survive, just to mock her as a weakling? The more she thought about it, the more absurd it felt. By this metric, how astronomically high would the stats of truly robust people be? Her full energy and health bars at 100 each seemed normal enough. These must be the mana and health gauges from games. 0 experience out of 10 required meant she needed 10 total experience points to reach level 1. Hey, system, Yuan spoke up, her voice deceptively calm even as her spirit felt ready to leave her body. Can I file an appeal against this rating? The system fell silent. The screen flickered faintly, as if processing her request. Then the F rank updated to F. The system's evaluation refreshed alongside it. Appeal received and processed. Following your formal protest and a second full physical scan, your overall rating has been adjusted from F to F. 2 minus signs deliver a far more striking visual effect, perfectly matching your unique demeanor. You're welcome. That's not what I meant at all. Yuan's shout carried far across the empty ocean. I hated how ugly F sounded. I didn't ask you to add another minus sign. The system offered no further response. Yuan took one deep breath, then another, feeling her blood pressure spike sharply. Forget it. She'd change her nickname first. After a moment's thought, she edited it to Little Glutinous Rice Ball. What she did not know was that countless live viewing screens back on Planet Blue broadcasted her stat panel to millions of viewers, who all fell into stunned silence. This girl's rank is F? 2 minuses? I've seen F and F plus on other Survivor streams, but F is a first. This has to be the lowest possible grade. Dead last out of 100,000 people. That's just tragic. Her strength and stamina are both 0.1. My 80-year-old grandma's fitter than her. Wait a second, her energy gauge is full? How can someone this fragile have maxed energy? What a bizarre stat spread. Full energy probably means she's mentally resilient at least. But with 0.1 strength, she'd struggle to sweat a seagull. 0 out of 10 experience needed to level up. No one knows what actions award experience points yet. We're doomed. This girl won't last 3 days tops. Don't count her out before she even starts. Her luck stat shows data anomaly. What does that even mean? Can't the system read it? Maybe it's abysmally low, too weak for the system to register? That doesn't add up. If it were terrible luck, it would display 0 or a negative number. An anomaly, could it be impossibly high? Insanely good luck? Just look at her physical stats. Does she strike you as someone blessed with fortune? I've got no rebuttal for that. The live chat exploded into conflicting arguments, yet the vast majority of viewers held no hope for her survival. Some shook their heads and sighed, others fretted over whether she would survive the novice protection period, while many switched channels to watch other more promising survivors. Only a small handful of official observers and Yuan's parents fixated on the anomalous luck marker, clinging to a faint thread of quiet hope. Yuan studied her turbulent emotions and resolved to familiarize herself with the system panel. She studied its layout carefully. Aside from the personal stats in the top left and zone information at the top edge, the main body of the screen was split into 4 functional tabs: Zone Chat, World Chat, System Inventory, System Shop. World Chat and System Shop were grayed out, indicating these features would only unlock once she met certain level or progression requirements. Yuan tapped open System Inventory first. A grid-based storage window unfolded, laid out as 2 rows of 5 slots, 10 storage spaces in total, neatly arranged. The first 9 slots sat empty. Only the final slot held a single item, resting silently in place. Yuan's breath caught in her throat. It was the wool sweater her mother had knitted for her, creamy white with a tiny pink embroidered flower stitched around the collar. Wait a minute. She'd been wearing this sweater during the teleportation, hadn't she? She glanced down at the white t-shirt on her body, then back at the inventory icon. It clicked. The clothes she'd worn upon arrival were the ones on her back right now. The sweater had been separately stored away by the system and placed in her inventory. She tentatively tapped an empty inventory slot. A small prompt box popped up. Hold the item you wish to store or retrieve close to your body and recite the command silently. Sigh. She had no extra items to store for the time being. She selected the icon of her mother's sweater and chose retrieve. The next instant, the soft, creamy wool sweater, redolent of a familiar scent, materialized in her palms. It was thicker than she'd remembered. Her mother had used the finest wool yarn. The fabric felt plush, carrying a faint whiff of laundry detergent, the scent of planet blue, the scent of home. Yuan pulled the sweater over her head. It ran 1 size larger than her usual fit, falling past her hips with sleeves long enough to completely swallow her hands. Her mother had likely made it oversized on purpose so it would fit for years, with room to layer other clothes underneath. Warmth seeped through the wool fibers into her skin, coursing through her veins and settling deep in her heart. It felt just like her mother wrapping her in a tight embrace. Yuan sniffled, rolling the overlong cuffs twice to free her fingertips. All 10 inventory slots were empty once more. All right, Yuan said to herself. I'll fill these up eventually, probably run out of space before long. Now, time to get to work. Yuan squared her shoulders, brimming with newfound resolve. She decided to check what was inside the starting treasure chest first. The pale brown wooden crate sat in one corner of the raft, looking unremarkable. Yuan squatted down and whispered to the box, "Please give me lots of stuff, lots of stuff. God of wealth, bless me." She rubbed her hands together and pried the chest open. Her faith in the god of wealth shattered into tiny pieces right then and there. The contents of the wooden chest were pitifully sparse: 1 500-milliliter bottle of mineral water and half a loaf of bread. Yes, only half. Not a whole loaf, not neatly packaged, just half. The break was jagged, as if someone had torn it apart carelessly. The bread itself was dry and stale, obviously past its prime. She couldn't help wondering who had the other half. Yuan picked up the water bottle and bread, turning them over and over twice. 1 bottle of water. Half a loaf of bread. That was everything she owned. After she took the items out, a prompt appeared above the chest stating it could be dismantled into 5 planks of wood. Yuan selected no. System, she called out tentatively, did you send the wrong starting chest? Did you forget to include the other half of the bread? There was no response from the system. She glanced at her overall rating on the system interface, F. The 2- signs stung her eyes. Fine then, Yuan carefully placed the bread and water back into the crate. If I ration the water, it can last 2 days. I'll hold on to the half loaf too. I don't eat much anyway. She picked up the fishing rod and twirled it in her hands. Rule 3 stated the rod could reel in supplies and treasure chests from the sea. In other words, this rickety bamboo pole was her only source of income for now. Back on the sky screen, her mom and dad were surely watching her. Her mother was probably wiping away tears, and her father sat silent. They must have seen that F rating and the measly half loaf of bread. But she still had the sweater her mom had knitted for her. She glanced down at the cream-white sweater embroidered with tiny flowers covering her frame and curved her lips toward the empty air. "Mom, this sweater keeps me so warm," she murmured softly. "Thank you." Then she stood, or rather, stabilized her squatting balance on the raft, gripped the fishing rod with both hands, and cast it hard forward. The hook traced a faint parabola before splashing into the seawater. The red float bobbed gently on the surface, then went completely still. Yuan sat cross-legged on the raft, clutching the rod, her gaze fixed rigidly on the float. Sea wind whipped at her cream sweater, and gentle waves rocked the small raft back and forth. She looked like a pitiful little statue abandoned out on the open ocean, muttering complaints to herself every few moments. "I've got to catch something, I've got to catch something, I've got to catch something." She chanted quietly, as if casting a spell on the float. 5 or 6 minutes passed, and the float never moved an inch. Yuan took a break to open the regional chat channel to see what everyone else was saying. Instantly, lines of text flooded the screen, scrolling as fast as live stream bullet comments. "Honeycomb Coal, anyone there? Sector 888. Justice Seeker, my starting chest had 2 bottles of water and a pack of crackers. What about you guys? Edgy teen, damn, my stats are garbage. Strength's only 4, is that normal? Hopeless romantic, buddy above, 4's not bad. Mine's just 2. Love guru, girls, what's your luck stat? Mine's 13, high or low? Smug show off, From what everyone's posted, the highest luck stat we've seen is in the 50s. No one's hit above 60 yet. Random passerby, got it, so unlucky people stay unlucky no matter where they go. Cannon fodder, does anyone know how to level up? Do we just eat food or do something else? Cute bean, help. A huge shadow just swam past under the water next to me. Cold blade, heads up. The newbie protection period only lasts 7 days. I fished up a wooden chest with dried fish inside, plus a little experience. Tofu beauty, for real? Fishing chests give experience points? Tomato egg stir fry, totally. I just reeled one in 2, got a small XP boost. I only pulled out food, but it's better than nothing. Veteran boss, Sector 888 has 99,997 survivors right now, 3 have already vanished. Sigh. Second random passerby, didn't they warn us the ocean's deadly? Did those 3 jump straight in as soon as they arrived? Seeing others actually catch loot lifted Yuan's spirits, and she tightened her hold on the fishing rod again. Then the float plunged sharply downward. The fishing line snapped taut, bending the bamboo pole into a tight arch. It's a bite. Yuan nearly got dragged off the raft by the sudden force. She scrambled to steady herself, white-knuckling the rod with both hands until her face flushed bright red. Her strength stat was only 0.1. She stood almost no chance against the powerful thrashing from beneath the waves. "Come up. Get up here." She gritted her teeth and hauled backward, half sprawled across the raft's surface. The standoff dragged on for more than 10 seconds, an eternity to Yuan, until the tension on the line vanished all at once. Splash! A soaking wet object roughly the size of a basketball flew out of the water, arcing beautifully through the air before thudding hard onto her raft, rocking the whole wooden platform. Yuan gasped for air and looked down. It was a treasure chest. Unlike the crude starting crate, this one looked far higher tier, its frame forged from bronze, exactly what the rules called a bronze treasure chest. "Oh my god, I've hit the jackpot." A soft glow bloomed slowly across the chest's surface. Right after, a system notification chimed in her ears. "Congratulations, survivor, for catching 1 times bronze treasure chest. Plus 5 experience points." Yuan froze for a second and instinctively pulled up her stat panel. Her experience counter shifted from 0 out of 10 to 5 out of 10. Everyone said wooden crates only gave a tiny bit of XP, but a single bronze chest granted 5 points? 1 more catch and she'd hit level 1. She glanced down at the beat-up bamboo fishing rod clutched in her hands, the kind that looked like it had been scavenged from some forgotten corner. Then she stared at the bronze chest sitting by her feet. She lifted the rod uncertainly, turning it over and examining every inch. She tilted her head upward and spoke sincerely to thin air. "This rod, is this for real?" On the sky screen, countless viewers watching back on Blue Planet widened their eyes in shock all at once. She actually fished up a different tier of chest? Less than 10 minutes after casting her line? I haven't seen anyone else in other live streams pull an iron chest, and she already got bronze? That chest looks way nicer than the starting crate. Wait a second. Isn't this girl ranked dead last with F stats? How's her luck this insane? Abnormal luck stat. I get it now. Her luck isn't low at all, it's off the charts, too high for the system to measure. No way. 0.1 stamina but max luck? What an extreme build. She must be cheating, right? And fishing chests grant XP 5 whole points. One more catch and she levels up. Whoa, will she jump levels on her next haul? I take back what I said earlier. This girl's probably gonna outlive all of us. Yuan, you've got this. Yuan's mother sat in their living room back on Blue Planet, hands clamped over her mouth as tears finally spilled down her cheeks. Not out of fear, but from the loud heavy thud when the chest landed. It was like a sudden shot of adrenaline straight to her heart. Before opening the bronze chest, Yuan put on an exaggerated show of reverence, straightening her collar, rolling up her sleeves, formally paying homage to the goddess of fortune and the god of wealth. She pressed her palms together and bowed deeply to the crate. Open. A flash of green and blue light flickered inside the chest. Bronze chest loot acquired. 180 sheet tissue packs times 5 500 milliliters bottled mineral water times 5 self-heating hot pot times 5 wood planks times 20 iron ingots times 10 white tier workbench blueprint times 1 green tier trident blueprint times 1 blue tier sea monster repellent nightlight times 1. Yuan chose not to dismantle the chest again. The system noted the planks and iron could be used for upgrades, so she decided to expand her raft first. Level 1 raft upgrade required exactly the materials she now held, 20 wood planks and 10 iron ingots. She immediately selected Upgrade Raft, and the system prompted a 5-minute waiting period. Yuan stared wide-eyed at the mountain of supplies inside the chest. Tissues, bless her luck, she couldn't go more than a few hours without them. Counting her original bottle, she now had 6 waters, plus proper hot meals to eat. Yuan picked up 1 self-heating hot pot and turned it over fondly, almost pressing a kiss to the packaging. In this desolate stretch of ocean, self-heating hot pot might as well be Michelin 3-star cuisine. She'd also gotten 2 blueprints. A workbench sounded essential, and she could craft the trident too. She doubted she'd be skilled enough to spearfish with it, but she could always build the weapon and sell it off. Time to build my initial capital. When her gaze fell on the last item, her breath caught short. A blue-quality sea monster repellent nightlight. The system description read, Sea monster repellent nightlight, tier blue. Effect: when activated, all sea monsters are barred from entering a 5-meter radius centered on the lamp. Total usable runtime: 72 hours, may be toggled on and off freely. Note: this lamp has no effect on humans or other intelligent races. 72 whole hours. Yuan nearly jumped for joy. That meant she'd be completely safe each night during the 7-day newbie protection period with this lamp, an absolute lifesaver. Who else could match this insane luck? This was the perfect starting hand. She clutched the nightlight and laughed out loud on the raft. Ha ha, I knew it. I'm definitely the goddess of fortune's favorite, ha ha. She delivered a dramatic speech to an invisible audience. I am the queen of this open sea. Back on the sky screen, Blue Planet's viewers were losing their minds. Wait, did I read that right? A bronze chest dropped a blue tier item? I thought only silver chests gave blue gear. It's not just 1 blue item, guys, she also got a green blueprint and a white one. Damn, her luck's absurd. F-tier physical stats, but SSS tier luck? What's the saying? When heaven shuts a door, it opens a window for you. She's not surviving out here. This is basically a vacation. Invest in Team Yuan now, you won't regret it. Inside Blue Planet's Central Government Monitoring Hall, a massive screen broadcast every move Yuan made. The director of the newly founded Survival Observation Division issued orders. Monitor this girl closely. She may very well be our trump card to gain a foothold on Star MO High. A data specialist nodded. Agreed. Her luck defies logic. Every step she takes teeters on the edge of impossible low-probability events. A staff member standing nearby stamped Yuan's file. Seed candidate, priority observation. Yuan on Star MO High had no idea she'd become a rising star in the survival realm. Lost in delight over her perfect starting loot, she hummed the song Good Luck Arrives while storing all her new supplies in her system backpack. The 5 minutes passed quickly. Ding! Raft upgrade complete. Congratulations, survivor. Your raft has expanded to 10 square meters with improved durability. Now she owned a full 10 square meter raft. She was a big-time survivor now. Strike while the iron's hot. She cast her line again, and while waiting, popped open regional chat once more. Messages still flooded the channel at breakneck speed. Anyone catch a treasure chest? I've fished for half an hour with nothing to show for it. It probably ties into your luck stat, I guess. Haha guys, I reeled in an iron chest and got a white blueprint out of it. Lucky legend above. Bow down, bow down. Reading the chat, Yuan felt warm satisfaction swell inside her. She was too kind to brag about her bronze chest haul. It paid to stay humble. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 30 minutes. 2 full hours slipped by, yet the float never budged. She tried every fishing posture imaginable, sitting, squatting, lying flat, even gripping the rod between her toes. Why me? Yuan shouted to the sky. I caught something in 10 minutes last time. What gives? Does luck just come in random bursts, working 1 minute and dead the next? She'd sat on the raft for far too long, and a dull ache throbbed in her lower back. She stood to stretch her legs and pulled up her stat panel. Nearly half her stamina had drained away. It hurt so bad. She winced, rubbing her waist, and struggled to stand for a full stretch. Her foot slipped. She lost balance in an instant, slamming the back of her head hard against the raft planks. She crumpled flat onto the wood, black spots dancing across her vision. To everyone watching, she lay completely motionless. Yuan. Her mother on Blue Planet shot straight up from her chair, overcome with panic. Bullet comments streamed nonstop across the screen. What's happening? Did she pass out? She fell suddenly without bracing herself, maybe a mild concussion? No, my poor Yuan, sob. The chat descended into chaos, filled with panic and heartache. What about the survival system? Won't it do anything to help her? Yuan's father wrapped an arm around his wife, his voice rough and barely audible. Yuan, wake up. To onlookers, those dozen seconds stretched on for an eternity. Suddenly, a golden pillar of light descended from the sky, speeding faster and faster before crashing straight into Yuan's face. Viewers watching the live sky screen flinched at the unexpected flash of light. Yuan blinked groggily awake, something soft smacking against her cheek. She blinked hazily, her vision clearing slowly from blurriness. Her skull still throbbed where she'd hit it, and then she saw it. A round, fluffy white orb roughly the size of a human head hovered right in front of her, less than 20 centimeters from her nose. Tiny stubby arms stuck out from either side of its plump body, paired with short orange legs beneath. 2 great black eyes were embedded on its front, making it look exactly like a giant steamed bun. Yuan stared at it for 3 full seconds. The white orb stared right back for 3 full seconds. Then the orb spoke. Hey human, its voice crisp and high-pitched, like a 5 or 6-year-old boy with an innate haughty tone. What are you gawking at? Never seen a system before. Had she stood up too fast? Was she hallucinating from hunger? A steamed bun was talking to her? A talking steamed bun, for crying out loud? I must be hallucinating from starvation, Yuan mumbled to herself, weak yet utterly convinced. Yeah, definitely low blood sugar causing visions. Other people see stars when their sugar drops. I never thought my hallucinations would be this advanced, talking steamed buns and all. The orb's round black eyes blew wide open. Steamed bun. Its voice shot up an octave. You dare call the system a steamed bun? I'm the coolest, strongest, most versatile high-tier system across all system realms. Designation 666. Look closely, I am not food. This wasn't a hallucination? Yuan reached out and touched it. A pillowy, soft warmth seeped into her fingertips. She blinked in shock, shooting upright as if revived from a deathbed. So you're not a hallucination? Of course I'm not a hallucination. Then what exactly are you? The white dumpling puffed out its non-existent chest proudly. Listen well, human. I am System 666, subordinate to the main system, a high-tier system blessed with omnipotence, supreme luck, and boundless wisdom. I rank within the top 10 of all systems, no, top 5, no, top 3. Being bound to me is a fortune you could only earn across 18 lifetimes. Do you have any idea how lucky you are? Yuan fell silent for 2 seconds. Then why are you here? The white dumpling's arrogance instantly deflated. It darted its eyes left and right, pouted its tiny mouth, and its voice shrank to a murmur. Well, I just snuck out for a stroll to get some fresh air. Then I got swept up in a space-time rift, and then I crashed into you. Crashed into me? Yuan pointed at herself. You crashed right onto my body? Yep, onto you, the white dumpling admitted reluctantly. And that's how we formed a binding contract. This was never my intention, don't get the wrong idea. I could have bonded with far stronger survivors, ones who can punch a mountain to rubble. But since we're already linked, I guess I'll settle for you. A dull throbbing lingered at the back of her head, yet her spirits felt drastically lifted. Forming a contract with this white blob had recharged her energy entirely. She stared at the haughty white dumpling before her, the corners of her lips slowly curving upward. Let me get this straight, Yuan drawled. You ran away from home, got pulled into a space-time rift, accidentally crashed into me, accidentally bonded with me, and now you're telling me you're settling for little old me? The white dumpling squirmed awkwardly. It's not like I'm settling that badly, that's exactly what you implied, Yuan accused. I did not, it retorted loudly. You absolutely did, Yuan shot back, even more fervent. I am the crown prince of the system realm. A crown prince deigning to stay with you hardly counts as settling. Yuan laughed, a sweet smile pulling on her cheeks and making her two dimples stand out prominently. System 660 SIX's round black eyes blinked involuntarily twice. She was so adorable. All right then, Yuan clapped her hands. Since we're bound, it must be fate. By the way, what should I call you? I am System 666. 666. Yuan tilted her head. That doesn't sound warm enough. Can I give you a proper name? The white dumpling froze. What? You're naming me? I'm the Great. Look how white and round you are. My name's Yuan, so you can take my surname. Yuan's eyes crinkled into crescent moons. I'll call you Yuan Bao. Yuan Bao? I refuse, Mosk. The system wiggled its tiny body in petulance. Yuan Bao, Yuan cooed again softly. It sounds lovely. The white dumpling's great black eyes went wide, its small mouth opening and shutting repeatedly. A faint pink blush spread across its entire white form. How unreasonable can you humans be? I haven't even agreed yet. Yuan Bao, Yuan cut it off and pulled it tight into her arms. Some of the fear she'd felt upon landing on this alien planet melted away in the embrace. You're mine now. The white dumpling, Yuan Bao, fell completely silent. It mumbled after a long pause, twisting its head away as it soaked up the warmth of her hug. Suit yourself. No matter what you name me, it won't diminish my immense power one bit. Yuan's smile grew brighter. Suddenly, she felt unstoppable. The crown prince of the system realm had run away from home, wandered through a space-time rift, crashed straight into her, and bonded with her. She was the chosen one, blessed by fate, heaven's favored child. Yuan Bao, Yuan stood up, hands planted firmly on her hips, facing the open sea with towering confidence. Starting today, I, Yuan, am living with a cheat code. Could you tone down the dramatics? Yuan Bao said with disdain. Nope. I've got the crown prince of all systems backing me up. Why would I keep a low profile? When did this crown prince ever say I'd back you up? You said you'd bring me endless delicious food and prosperity. Yuan Bao's beady eyes widened again. When did I ever utter such nonsense? Just now. You said, since we're already bound, I guess I'll settle for you. That's exactly what it meant. I seriously question your reading comprehension. Ignoring its sarcasm, Yuan leaned in excitedly. Yuan Bao. What can you do? What functions do you have? Show me everything. Yuan Bao still retained its professional demeanor. A glowing interface materialized across its body, etched in warm golden text, clearly a premium, top-tier system panel. Yuan Bao, System 666, bonded to host. Protective barrier, activable for 2 hours daily, toggle on/off at will. Once deployed, an impenetrable shield surrounds the host, blocking all external damage. Universal scanning, this system holds infinite knowledge of all things. The host may scan any unknown object, creature, or phenomenon to retrieve complete detailed data. Additional features will unlock gradually as the host levels up. Yuan read the panel and fell quiet. Only 2 functions? Just 2? You claimed you're the crown prince of the system realm, she asked, confused. Had it just given itself that grand title? These 2 are more than enough for your current stage. The barrier keeps you alive, and scanning lets you log every new discovery. What more could you want? One-hit instant kills? Where's the fun in that? Yuan mulled over and conceded he had a point. Greed leads to overreaching. Though the feature list was short, the protective barrier was a vital lifeline. 2 full hours of invulnerability each day could save her life in a crisis. As for universal scanning, Yuan Bao, she pointed to the small blue nightlight sitting beside them. Scan that lamp for me. I want all its details. A streak of golden light emanated from Yuan Bao and swept over the nightlight. Sea Monster Repellent Nightlight Grade, Blue Effect, repels all sea monster creatures within a 5-meter radius once activated. Total usable duration, 72 hours. Notes: only effective against sea monsters. Humans and other species remain unaffected. Recommended for use at night or in dangerous ocean zones. Avoid wasting runtime unnecessarily. Yuan nodded in satisfaction. Alright then, let's start with scanning. Yuan Bao, scan this fishing rod and tell me its origin. Yuan Bao swept the beat-up rod with golden light once more. Worn fishing rod grade, junk description, the most basic fishing rod native to Star Mo High. Only a 1 chance to catch bronze tier or higher treasure chests. 1%. Yuan blinked in shock. I pulled a bronze chest in just 10 minutes. Does that mean pure natural luck? Yuan Bao replied, a hint of unspoken pride lacing its tone. But now that I'm with you, your fortune will soar even higher. Yuan let out a snorting laugh. She was about to speak when Yuan Bao suddenly warned, people are watching you. Hundreds of them. Yuan froze, then realized the truth. People back on Blue Star, her parents, countless strangers, all staring at her through the celestial sky screen. Oh right, Yuan waved casually at thin air. Mom, Dad, did you see that? I've got a system now. My cheat code activated. Don't worry about me. On the other side of the sky screen, the comment section exploded into chaos. A system. She bonded with a system. What's that white blob even supposed to be? Crown Prince of the system realm? A subordinate of the main system? Ran away from home and crashed into her elm. Oh, what an absurd way to form a bond. This is next-level ridiculousness taken to its absolute peak. She's straight out of a web novel, with a personal system at her beck and call. Yuan named the system Yuan Bao. Yuan and Yuan Bao, they're such a perfect match. Wait a second, she just said she's using a cheat code? Doesn't that count as cheating? The moment the words cheat code and cheating flooded the comments, public opinion took a sharp turn. Across every sky screen channel on Blue Star, thousands more viewers flooded Yuan's live feed. It was no longer just people from Province S. Most survivors worldwide were glued to her broadcast. Some envied her, some marveled, others seethed with jealousy. This isn't fair. Why does she get a system? Our nation's survivors have nothing, so why does she get an unfair hack? Report her. This is blatant cheating. We have to file a formal complaint. Yes, mass report. Make the survivor system investigate her. Within seconds, tens of thousands of reports flooded the survivor system's backend. Every single complaint bore the identical reason. Survivor ID 886699 is using cheat mechanics. Request full system audit. Yuan Bao hovered mid-air and flickered faintly. People are filing reports against you, Yuan Bao said flatly. They claim you're cheating with an exploit. Yuan paused, then smiled. What happens then? Will they take you away? Seize me? Disdain flashed in Yuan Bao's eyes. I am an officially registered, fully authorized system, directly affiliated with the Supreme Main System, it declared, born arrogance dripping from every word. Seconds later, bold golden text popped up across Yuan's live feed for every complainant to see. Official investigation results, following a full audit by the main system. All circumstances surrounding Survivor ID 888666 Yuan are deemed completely legitimate. System 666 bonded with the survivor after being swept into Star Mo High by a spontaneous space-time rift. This accidental binding complies with Clause 5, Chapter 12 of the Interstellar Civilization Salvation Convention, classifying the contract as legal and valid. No cheating violations have been detected on the survivor's record. Penalty ruling. All submitters of these reports have filed malicious complaints intended to disrupt survivor order. Punishment. 24-hour comment ban. Immediately afterward, an endless scrolling list of banned user IDs rolled across every complainant's screen. The people who'd been screaming about cheats and exploits moments earlier fell dead silent. It wasn't that they didn't want to speak, they physically could not post any longer. Yuan Bao glanced over the long list of banned accounts and let out a tiny huff. How dare they file random reports on my host? Yuan heard the line and smiled, her eyes crinkling into soft crescents. What was that you just said, Yuan Bao? I didn't catch it. I said, go eat yourself heating hot pot already. Yuan Bao twisted its small body away. You haven't eaten a thing all day. Are you worrying about me? Yuan raised an eyebrow. I'm worried if you starve to death I'll have to rebond with a new host. It's far too much trouble. You're definitely worrying about me. I am not. Yuan Bao, I really like you. Yuan Bao's entire round form flushed pale pink, rendered completely speechless. On the other side of the sky screen, after a brief stunned lull, the comment section erupted into even wilder celebration. So protective. This system is insanely loyal to its host. Who knew it'd be such a tsundere system? Everyone who reported her got muted. LMAO, serves them right. Yuan's totally right. She's using a cheat code, a legal one. Huh. The crown prince of the system realm personally watching over her. Who dares lay a finger on her? Yuan stand forever. All hail Yuan. Yuan had already opened her first box of self-heating hot pot. 15 minutes passed, and she lifted the lid. Spicy red oil bubbled ferbly amid rising steam, rice noodles and vegetables swirling in rich broth. A thick, savory aroma drifted out, mixing with the sea salt breeze to hang thick in the air. Yuan drew a deep breath, her eyes stinging faintly. It wasn't just sentiment, well, a little bit of that too. She'd feared her first day of survival would consist of nothing but half a stale loaf of bread. Mostly, though, she was just starving for the savory meal. Want a bite? Yuan pushed the hot pot toward Yuan Bao. I have no need to consume food. Yuan Bao paused, unwilling to turn down her kindness, and added quietly, though it does smell decent. I suppose I can sample a little. Yuan scooped a portion onto the plastic lid and slid the bigger serving over to Yuan Bao. Yuan Bao nudged the larger portion back with its round body. I don't need that much. Dig in. She lifted her chopsticks, grinning to reveal her dimples at the steaming pot. Yuan Bao hovered beside her, perched atop a treasure chest. Slow down, no one's racing you for it. Yuan lifted a chopstick full of noodles, blew on them to cool them down, and took a bite. Spicy. Scaldingly hot. Absolutely delicious. Her eyes curved into bright crescent moons. A soft sea wind swept over them, gentle waves lapping against the wooden raft as it drifted slowly across the ocean surface. Yuan's mother finally lowered the hand she'd clamped over her mouth. Her palms were soaked in sweat, tears streaked her face, yet a relieved smile tugged at her lips. She's all right, she turned to her husband, calming herself. Yuan's father said nothing, only nodded and pulled his wife tighter against his chest, a faint smile lifting his own mouth. Yuan slid the empty hot pot box to one side. With no trash bin available, she left it tucked in the raft's corner. Hiss, hiss, red chili oil ringed her lips. Every last noodle was gone, and she'd drunk most of the broth straight from the container. I'm stuffed. Yuan flopped back onto the raft, rubbing her full belly with a satisfied expression. This is hands down the best self-heating hot pot I've tasted in my 22 years of life. Yuan Bao looked utterly unimpressed. Your standards are pitifully low then. You wouldn't understand. This is pure bliss. Yuan twisted open a mineral water bottle and chugged half of it, wiping her mouth with a tissue. Suddenly stranded in the middle of this endless ocean, all alone, a hot, warm meal is such a luxury. Wait, scratch that. I'm not alone, I've got you. Yuan tilted her head to glance at Yuan Bao. Humph. It had no retort to that. Billions of survivors lived on Star Mo High, and less than 1% would ever stumble across a self-heating hot pot. Most subsisted on dry bread and cold seawater. Some couldn't even secure enough fresh drinking water. And truly, she wasn't alone at all. Yuan Bao reminded her, aren't you going to use that blueprint you found? Yuan smacked her forehead. Right? She sat up straight and pulled up the blueprint interface. I completely forgot about it. How do I craft this? She pulled out the workbench blueprint. Crafting required 10 planks and 2 iron ingots. A trident could only be forged on a workbench, costing 6 iron ingots per unit. She'd already burned through all 20 planks and 10 iron ingots upgrading her raft earlier. Excitement faded into contemplation on her face. So my current shortage is crystal clear, she counted off on her fingers. No planks, no iron ingots. Yuan Bao, you still have your initial unbroken wooden crate. Disassembling it yields 5 planks. Yuan took a deep breath and gripped her beat-up fishing rod again. All right then, she said eagerly to the open sea. Send me more treasure chests. She cast hard, the hook sinking into the waves, red float bobbing lightly on the surface. Minutes ticked by. She'd braced herself for another 2-hour wait, but luck was clearly on her side today. Less than 5 minutes later, the float plunged sharply underwater. Got one. Yuan gripped the rod with both hands and hauled backward. The weight was light. She pulled the underwater treasure up with minimal effort. Thud crash. A pale brown wooden chest landed solidly on the raft. Opened wooden chest rewards. Planks times 20, basic wooden cabin blueprint white times 1, iron axe blueprint white times 1, nylon rope times 100 wow, a cabin blueprint, and rope too. I might even have a little wooden house to sleep in tonight. Yuan bubbled with delight. She selected her 2 spare wooden crates to disassemble. Disassembled 2 wooden chests, gained planks times 10. Hee, now she had more than enough planks, only iron ingots left to collect. Without hesitation, she cast her line back into the sea. This time she waited roughly 10 minutes before the float dove down once more. Another wooden chest, though luck was thinner this time, it only held 20 planks inside. Yuan immediately disassembled it. Disassembled 1 wooden chest, gained planks times 5. Her plank stockpile was now more than sufficient, yet her iron ingot count remained 0. The workbench needed 2, the trident 6, 8 total iron ingots required. Yuan tightened her grip on the rod and muttered toward the ocean waves, iron ingots, iron ingots, iron ingots. The hook splashed back into the sea. Nearly 30 minutes passed. Her arms ached badly, yet she gritted her teeth and refused to let go of the rod. The float sank violently, this pull far heavier than any wooden chest before. Something big's on the line. Yuan braced both hands on the rod and leaned her full weight backward. Splash! A dark gray chest glinting with metallic luster burst from the water and crashed onto the raft with a heavy bang. An iron treasure chest. Yuan drew a sharp breath and flipped open the lid. Opened iron chest rewards. Iron ingots times 10, water purifier blueprint green times 1, cluster of grapes times 1. Her breath hitched the second the lid swung open. Iron ingots finally showed up. Does this ocean run on a magic lamp or something? Fruit and a water purifier too? Yuan snatched Yuanbao up and rubbed its soft round form vigorously in her palms. Hey, let go of me at once. This is all your own naturally high luck stat. Yuanbao wriggled in her grasp. I only need 8 of these anyway. Yeah, but I've got it now. So it seems. Yuan fell silent for 2 seconds, then, ahhhhhh. She hugged Yuanbao and hopped twice on the raft, sending the wooden craft swaying wildly beneath her feet. Startled, Yuanbao flickered with golden light, nearly activating its protective shield. Calm down this instant. I can't calm down. Yuanbao held Yuanbao high above her head, brimming with excitement. I asked for iron, and iron appeared right away. This is what it means to be blessed by fortune. This is the prestige of a child of destiny, a daughter chosen by heaven. Yuanbao silently retracted the protective barrier it had been about to deploy. Stay composed. This is just standard for someone with max luck stat. How can you be certain my luck is maxed? Yuan was utterly confused. The system had only shown her a string of question marks before. From the moment I bound myself to you, your luck value has been visible to me. Over on Blue Star, viewers flooded the live chat. Her luck is absolutely insane. She hooked iron just like that. Is this the power of full luck stats? I'm so jealous. Yuan opened her system panel. Sure enough, her luck stat now read luck 100. Congratulations. Having maxed your luck stat, you have unlocked the title beloved of the Goddess of Fortune. You may equip it to receive unexpected pleasant surprises. Yuanbao urged, equip it quickly. Yuan tapped to put the title on at once. A smug grin spread across her face. I knew it, my luck's unbeatable. She didn't rush to use the iron ingots right away. First, she stowed the 10 planks gained from dismantling the wooden treasure chest. Then stored the 10 iron ingots from the iron chest in her inventory. Dismantled iron treasure chest times 1 acquired, iron ingot times 5. Yuan's eyes lit up. It seemed every type of chest yielded 5 corresponding crafting materials when taken apart. She pulled out the blueprint for a workbench next. Construct workbench, plank times 10, iron ingot times 2. She retrieved 10 planks and 2 iron ingots, tapped construct, and placed the workbench in the top left corner of the raft. A pale blue glow flared up on the raft. In barely over 10 seconds, a small workbench half a meter tall and wide materialized in the corner. Its surface was wooden, edged with iron sheeting, crude-looking yet sturdy. A translucent operation panel hovered above the tabletop, prompting her to insert blueprints to learn recipes before placing materials for crafting. Yuan ran a hand over the workbench surface. Done, she nodded in satisfaction. She opened the floating panel and uploaded every blueprint in her possession. The material requirements for each craft popped up one after another. Trident. Attack +8, durability 300, crafting materials. Iron ingot ×6, craft time. 10 minutes iron axe. Attack +2, durability 100, crafting materials. Plank ×1, iron ingot ×1, craft time. 10 seconds. Water purifier. Produces 5L of drinking water daily. Crafting materials. Charcoal ×5, glass ×2, gauze ×1, craft time. 10 minutes. One blueprint yields only one purifier. Basic wooden hut. Durability 1000. Initial size 6 square meters. Expandable. Crafting materials. Plank ×100. Nylon rope ×20. Craft time. 10 minutes. Yuan's gaze lingered on the last entry. The basic wooden hut. 6 square meters. Expandable. She glanced around her 10 square meter raft subconsciously. There was more than enough space for the small cabin. Still, crafting weapons was the more practical priority for now. She decided to make a trident first. While waiting for it to forge, she grabbed her fishing rod and chatted with Yuanbao as she fished. When will I gather all the parts for the water purifier? Charcoal, glass, gauze, where even do I get glass? If I have to craft it myself, that'll be terrible news. Yuanbao sounded confident. Relax, it won't be that troublesome. Those materials are just a little harder to fish up. With me here, it'll be a breeze. You're right, nothing's impossible with you around. Yuan agreed wholeheartedly. 10 minutes passed. A silvery white trident rested quietly on the workbench. Roughly 2 meters long, its 3 sharp blades glinted brightly. And the grip was wrapped in dark non-slip leather. Yuan picked up it and hefted it. It was heavier than she'd expected, tiring to hold for long. Gripping it with both hands, she swung it a few times on the raft. The blades sliced through the air with a faint whistling sound. It's so cool, her eyes sparkled, unwilling to let go of the trident. Back on Blue Star, the live chat exploded with messages again. She's such a tiny girl wielding this giant weapon. Weirdly adorable contrast. +8 attack. Most players don't even have a single weapon yet. This is god-tier gear for her. Lucky little girl. Wish I could send a workbench to my favorite survival streamer. Aren't you going to craft a second one? Yuanbao asked. Yuan blinked and checked the remaining iron ingots in her inventory. She'd started with 15 total, 2 used for the workbench. 6 for the first trident, leaving 7. A second trident required 6 ingots, which would leave her with 1 left over. Without hesitation, she tapped craft once more. A second silvery trident materialized on the workbench. The 2 gleaming silver tridents lay side by side on the raft, catching the cold glow of the sunset over the sea. Yuan stared at them and nodded contentedly. 1 for me to use and 1 to sell. She opened the regional chat channel. The chat was buzzing nonstop. Anyone hooked any iron ingots? I desperately need them to upgrade my raft. Some of you are already upgrading rafts? I can't even scrape together enough planks. Anyone nearby? I'm almost out of drinking water. Can we trade supplies? Yuan thought for a moment and typed a message to send. Tangyuan, selling 1 mid-tier green trident. DM me if interested. The chat went dead silent for a split second. Then it erupted. What? Green tier? ID 886699. You already fished up bronze treasure chests. A trident? An actual weapon? We just started the game. How do you have gear already? DM me. Hit my inbox right now. I'll make you an offer. The private message icon in the top right corner of Yuan's system screen flickered frantically, flooded with thousands of incoming chats. Yuanbao, can you filter out people trying to beg for free stuff or offering unfair trades? Sorting through all these messages one by one is such a hassle. Yuanbao boasted, of course. Child's play for me. The wild number flashing on the DM icon instantly calmed down, dropping from 5 digits down to 2. After Yuanbao's screening, dozens of valid offers still remained. Dream encounter. Hello, how much for the trident? Random passerby, can I trade water? I've got 5 bottles. Mud lump, I have iron ingots, 3 for the trident, deal? Little Mingyu, pick me miss. 2 self-heating hot pots for 1 trident. Factory worker no shift, sell it to me please. 5 loaves of bread, genuine offer. I'm terrified of deep water. Yuan scrolled through the private messages one by one, her grin growing wider by the second. Yuanbao floated over to glance at the remaining chats. So many people fighting over it. Naturally, Yuan lifted her chin proudly. Green tier weapons, probably only I have one in District 888 right now. She didn't rush to reply, reading through every offer first. Some offered 5 iron ingots, 3 bottles of water, 7 steamed buns. Dizzy from all the choices and about to fall into decision paralysis, one message caught her eye. Ding Wu Jin, 8 iron ingots plus 2 bottles of water, trade? Yuan Yuan's face lit up. 8 iron ingots and 2 bottles of water meant selling this trident would let her craft another, with 2 extra ingots and 2 bottles of pure profit left over. It was basically getting something for nothing. Well, no. Rational resource exchange, everyone gets what they need. Exactly that. Yuan Yuan shot back a quick reply, deal. Ding Wu Jin responded instantly, it's a trade. The system's trading function was straightforward. Both sides confirmed their goods, the system acted as impartial witness. And all items transferred simultaneously with one tap, no way for either party to renege. The trident vanished from her inventory, and 8 iron ingots plus 2 mineral water bottles appeared in its place at once. Staring at her newly replenished stock of iron, Yuan Yuan grinned from ear to ear. See, she said to Yuan Bao. This is called primitive capital accumulation. Nicely done. My host isn't foolishly soft-hearted. Yuan Bao radiated a warm glow that screamed my little one has grown up. Teachable soul. Earn when you can, keep what you need, that's how you thrive long-term. By the time she finished all her haggling and crafting, night had fully fallen. Nights on Star Mahai arrived far earlier than on Blue Star. Full darkness hit around 7 o'clock sharp. No city lights, no hum of traffic, only endless blackness and the unceasing crash of waves. Yuan Yuan flopped flat on the raft, limbs splayed wide like an exhausted salted fish. She was worn to the bone. Fishing up chests, breaking down materials, building the workbench, forging weapons, negotiating trades. All of this would be a few simple mouse clicks in a game, but here, every task demanded her full physical labor. Her stamina stat sat at a mere 0.1. Sheer willpower and maxed luck had carried her this far. She chugged most of her half-empty water bottle, dabbed the leftover liquid onto a tissue to wipe her face for a hasty wash. Then lay straight down. So tired, she mumbled softly, her voice lighter than a feather drifting across the sea. Her eyes slipped half shut. Yuan Bao hovered beside her, gazing at her flushed, weary little face with a flicker of pity in its glowing orbs. Wait a moment, Yuan Bao said. Yuan Yuan didn't open her eyes, only hummed indistinctly. Yuan Bao's golden light flickered, and it vanished for several seconds, truly only a handful of heartbeats. When a sweet, fragrant scent drifted into her nostrils, Yuan Yuan thought she was dreaming. Tangy sweet strawberry mixed with rich creamy milk aroma. She forced one eye open to see Yuan Bao floating directly in front of her, a palm-sized white box suspended out of thin air before its tiny white body. The box was wrapped with a pale pink silk ribbon. Yuan Bao nudged the box toward her with its round form. What's this? Yuan Yuan's voice came out hoarse. Are you going to eat it? Yuan Bao maintained its usual haughty tone. If not, I'll toss it away. I'll eat it, I swear I will. Yuan Yuan shot upright, so fast low blood sugar made spots dance across her vision. She opened the box. Inside sat a tiny strawberry cake. It was no bigger than her palm, yet exquisitely decorated. Nothing like something you'd expect to find adrift at sea. Pale pink frosting dotted with fresh strawberries covered the top. And the sponge cake looked as soft as if it had just come out of an oven. Strawberry juice seeped gently into the cream, staining delicate pink rings around each berry. Yuan Yuan stared at the cake, stunned for several long seconds. Where did you get this? She asked. Yuan Bao's round eyes swiveled. This system has its ways. Can you just conjure things out of nowhere whenever you want? I can't summon items casually right now, but I can arrange to acquire what's needed. So how exactly did you get it? I have my system connections. Getting treats like this is trivial. Are you going to eat it or not? Yuan Bao's tone turned slightly flustered. Its white body tinged faint pink. It'll melt soon. This is what you humans call ice cream strawberry cake. Spotting Yuan Bao's embarrassment, Yuan Yuan dropped the line of questioning. She brushed a tiny dollop of cream onto the tip of her index finger and tasted it. It was wonderfully sweet. The cream melted on her tongue as soft as a cloud. She bit into the sponge next, light, moist, layered with thin strawberry jam. The jam's bright tartness balanced the rich cream so perfectly she almost wanted to swallow her whole tongue. She bit down on a fresh strawberry. Juice burst across her mouth, its sweet-sour flavor instantly washing away the exhaustion of her long day. Tears suddenly pricked Yuan Yuan's eyes. She hadn't stopped being scared since arriving here. She'd simply been too busy to process the fear. Yet truly, She was the beloved of the goddess of fortune. On her very first day, she'd found Yuan Bao, a brand new family member. Tears welled in her eyes. She bowed her head and finished the tiny cake bite by slow bite, savoring every mouthful as if it were a priceless treasure. Over on Blue Star, the chat rolled again. Truly the young lord of the system realm. He even got cake for his host. Strawberry envy overload. I'm drowning. Enough chatting. I'm ordering strawberry cake delivery for myself tonight. Same here. Yuan Bao's blushing. His whole body turns pink when he's flustered. What an adorable quirk. This system is too cute, tsundere yet so caring. Where do I sign up to get such a wonderful system? Yuan swallowed the last crumb, licked cream off her lips, then neatly folded the empty box and ribbon and set them in the raft's corner. She couldn't bear to throw them away. Yuan Bao, she murmured, her voice soft and drowsy from a full stomach. This is the best strawberry cake I've ever had. You already called something the best once today, Yuan Bao pointed out. The self-heating hot pot at lunch. That was lunch. This is dessert after dinner. They don't compete. Yuan Bao huffed and fell silent. Yuan lay back down, limbs spread wide just as before. This time, however, her lips tugged upward into a smile wider than the crescent moon hanging in Star Mahai's night sky. Yuan Bao, she whispered after a long pause, her voice nearly swallowed by the crashing waves. What now? Thank you. The sound of waves filled the empty space between them. 5 or 6 seconds passed before Yuan Bao's quieter than usual voice drifted over. You're welcome. Yuan's smile softened further, then her consciousness slipped away completely. She fell asleep. The raft drifted slowly through Star Mahai's dark night, carrying a slumbering girl and a tiny white orb floating beside her. Its round eyes fixed unblinkingly on her form. Yuan Bao watched her for a very long time. Sea wind ruffled the stray hairs on her forehead and flipped the collar of her cream-knit sweater, hand-woven by her mother. Her sleeping pose was far from elegant, curled on her side, mouth slightly parted with a glint of leftover cream on her lip. But that utterly defenseless, trusting slumber made Yuan Bao's glowing eyes curve gently without meaning to. It stretched a portion of its round body, if one could call it, reaching out and brushed lightly against Yuan's fingertips. Warm, alive. Its precious host. Yuan Bao pulled back its body and turned its gaze toward the dark open sea stretching far away. Nothing but blackness as far as the eye could see. But what did that matter? This system promised to lead you to a life of plenty, Yuan Bao muttered so quietly it was barely audible. And I always keep my word. It floated back beside her head, activated the small night light that repelled sea monsters, and closed its glowing eyes too. Half asleep, Yuan draped one hand loosely over Yuan Bao's soft round form. Far away on Blue Star, the audience fell silent for ages. No scrolling chat, no messages sent. Every pair of eyes was glued to the tiny live broadcast screen. The girl asleep on the raft, and the white orb resting beside her. At last, a single line appeared in the chat, soft as a whisper meant for both the screen and the sender themselves. Good night, Yuan. Good night, Yuan Bao. Wave after wave of gentle goodnights filled the live chat, wrapping the stream in a warm, quiet atmosphere. Yuan woke up on her second day on Star Mahai to a cold gust of sea wind. A breeze swept straight down her collar, making her shiver violently the moment it touched her skin. She curled inward and blinked awake groggily. Dawn had broken. Daylight here didn't creep in gradually, it snapped into full brightness the moment the hour hit. Yuan lay spread eagle on the raft, staring blankly at the sky as her brain slowly woke up. Ugh, my back's killing me. You're awake. Yuan Bao's voice sounded right beside her head. She turned to see the white orb hovering above her shoulder, clearly having been awake for quite some time. What time is it? Her voice came out rough and raspy. Exactly 7 in the morning. Daytime hours have officially started. I was just about to rouse you. I had so many weird dreams last night. Felt like I got beaten up over and over, Yuan complained. She sat up, massaging her stiff neck and supporting her aching lower back. Sleeping on a wooden raft left every muscle in her body sore. She'd need to craft a hut and a bed as soon as possible. She adjusted her sweater collar, suddenly remembering something. Yuan Bao, were there any sea monsters last night? I saw other survivors mentioning spotting creatures before. None at all, Yuan Bao replied. I kept the nightlight active. Not even a large fish dared come within 5 meters of us. Yuan breathed a sigh of relief, glancing toward the raft's corner where the faint pale blue glow of the nightlight had faded out. It had a 72-hour runtime, enough to last her several days straight. I really can't thank you enough, Yuan Bao. I love you, moi. Yuan Bao huffed proudly. Naturally. She stood up and stretched, her joints popping one after another like a string of tiny firecrackers going off. All right, a brand new day. Yuan patted her cheeks to wake herself up, splashed mineral water on her face and rinsed her mouth. What should I do today? Yuan Bao had already sorted out the plan and rattled it off point by point. First, we still need to gather wood planks to expand the raft. Once it's bigger, we can build a small cabin. You won't have to camp out tonight. Wait, hold on. Yuan cut her off. Slow down, I can't keep track. Yuan Bao let out a long, helpless sigh. This system says focus on planks first. Expand the raft, then we'll handle everything else. Do we have enough planks? Yuan rummaged through her backpack. After crafting the workbench yesterday, she'd been left with 45 planks, and 9 iron ingots remained after trades. Yuan Bao said, we're short on iron ingots. To expand the raft to 20 square meters, we need 40 planks and 10 iron ingots. We're almost there, though. Ugh, I wish I had a system that spits out planks automatically without me fishing. You can have anything you want in your dreams. Yuan pouted, yet obediently picked up her fishing rod. The hook hit the water, and the red float bobbed gently on the waves. She ate the leftover half loaf of bread for breakfast while waiting. The sea was far calmer in the morning than at night. From a distance, the water looked paler, veiled by a thin layer of mist. Yuan waited a while before the float twitched. She reeled in fast and hauled up a wooden treasure chest. Dismantle. +5 wood planks. She cast her line again. This time she waited over 20 minutes before another wooden chest surfaced. Dismantle. +5 wood planks. Staring at the surplus planks in her bag, she wondered when an iron chest would show up. Taking a deep breath, she cast once more. This is way too slow, she muttered. You think this is slow? Yuan Bao floated beside her. Check the regional chat. 90% of the survivors are still surviving on dry bread and plain cold water, and you're already expanding your raft. Skeptical, Yuan opened the regional chat and skimmed the messages. Can anyone sell me some water? I'll trade crackers for it. Why is everything I fish up total garbage since yesterday? Is my rod broken? Yikes man, it's probably your terrible luck stat. Does anyone know how to restore health? A fish bit me and my HP keeps dropping. How do I stop the bleeding? Mom, I want to go home. Got bitten by a fish and losing health? Yuan Bao, if a fish bites someone, can't they stop the bleeding? The fish that bit him are sea monsters, and sea monsters can't climb onto rafts during the newbie protection period. So the guy had gone out of his way to get hurt. Yuan silently closed the chat channel. What she thought was a glacial pace was actually lightning fast compared to everyone else. Sigh. She'd gotten carried away. She gripped the rod tight again, repeating the mindless cycle of casting and reeling like an NPC. That's the 3rd chest already. How long has it even been? Is her fishing rod custom made? All the survivors I follow only pull up trash. The gap between lucky gods and unlucky losers is wider than the gap between humans and dogs. Nearly an hour passed before the float plunged sharply underwater. She knew that pull instantly. It's here, it's here, it's here. She yanked hard backward, and an iron treasure chest broke the surface. It was stuffed full of iron ingots, 50 of them in total. Yuan Bao, look, an iron chest, nothing but iron ingots. Yuan said triumphantly. All right, hurry up and upgrade the raft already. Her host was just like a child, giddy over a handful of iron ingots. 50? Did I read that right? What insane drop rate is this? Other people get 5 ingots per chest, and she gets 50 straight up? LOL, Lady Luck speaking. Oh, my girl needs iron? Send loads over. I stopped being jealous of her yesterday. I want to worship her. After dismantling the chest, she sorted her supplies. She now had 70 wood planks and 64 iron ingots. Expanding the raft only required 40 planks and 10 ingots, more than enough. She opened the raft upgrade menu, confirmed her materials, and hit upgrade. Familiar blue light flickered across the raft, spreading outward from the center in an otherworldly glow. When the blue light faded, the raft, once 10 square meters, had doubled in size. Yuan stood atop her brand new raft, gesturing proudly at her domain, thoroughly satisfied. Yuan Bao said that didn't take too long. Let's start building the cabin now. She pulled up the cabin blueprint on the workbench. It required 100 wood planks and 20 meters of nylon rope. The finished cabin would be small, but something was better than nothing. We'll build a 6 square meter cabin first. Expanding it later won't cost extra nylon rope, so we can sell whatever rope we've got left. Hee, she was so clever. The midday sun blazed directly overhead, and the temperature steadily climbed. Yuan, let's stop for lunch, then pick back up this afternoon. After a full day together, Yuan Bao had grown far warmer toward her. He hadn't even noticed he'd stopped referring to himself as this system. Okay, Yuan Bao. Yuan had worked non-stop all morning, and her stomach rumbled loudly. Sitting on the raft, she browsed the stored food in her system backpack. After 2 days of consumption, she still had 2 self-heating hot pot meals, 2 cans of luncheon meat, 2 buckets of her favorite spicy instant noodles, and a bunch of grapes. She also had plenty of water left, 10 bottles after trading her trident. She decided to cook 1 bucket of noodles and open a can of luncheon meat. Instant noodles with luncheon meat. The simple, unbeatable joy of homebuddies back on Earth. She pulled out the luncheon meat can and pried the lid open carefully with the iron axe she'd crafted yesterday. She sliced thick slabs of the pale pink meat, which glistened in the sunlight, making her swallow hard. It smelled amazing. Next, she tore open the instant noodle packet. Noodle block, seasoning sachets, dehydrated vegetables, every piece felt achingly familiar. She added the sliced luncheon meat to the bucket. Now she just needed hot water. She didn't have any, but she had her cheat code. Dear Yuan Bao, help me out. Hot water, hot water. Her voice turned syrupy sweet. She'd figured out yesterday that this cute, Sundra system was far more capable than he let on. Yuan Bao floated over and glanced at the noodle bucket in her hands. Pour mineral water in, he instructed. I'll heat it up. You can heat water. Is such a trivial task really beyond me? Yuan Bao's tone dripped with haughty pride, as if offended she doubted him. Skeptical, Yuan twisted open a bottle of mineral water and poured it into the bucket until the noodles were fully submerged. Yuan Bao hovered above the bucket, his fluffy white body glowing faintly. A golden halo rippled out from him, wrapping the entire noodle bucket. Seconds later, steam curled over the rim. Yuan touched the bucket wall. It was scalding hot, just like boiling water. Excitement bubbled up inside her. 5 minutes later, she lifted the lid. The noodles had fully softened, unfurling in rich broth. The dehydrated vegetables had rehydrated, splashes of red and green floating across the soup's surface. You're incredible, Yuan Bao. Yuan gave him a thumbs up. Yuan Bao huffed and floated down to perch on her shoulder. It's nothing, child's play for me. You have no idea how glorious this system was completing missions in the system realm back in the day. A single random mission earned tens of thousands of points, and all the old-timers fought to team up with me. Yuan slurped noodles while listening, speaking with her mouth full. How many points did you save up? Yuan Bao puffed out his non-existent chest. I'd scare you if I told you. My points could feed you endless feasts traveling from Moxing Sea to Earth and back, 800 round trips, and you still wouldn't run out. That many. Naturally. Do you think they called me the young lord of the system realm for nothing? Yuan Bao brimmed with pride. Spend all you want. This system can afford to support you. He paused, then added a caveat. Though there are rules restricting me now. I can't blatantly bend the rules for you at will, but small favors like this are fine. Yuan smiled and took another mouthful of noodles. So I can have hot food whenever I want from now on? Yuan Bao answered earnestly. Of course. Whenever you crave it, this system will heat things for you. If this isn't blatant rule breaking, I don't know what is. Everyone knew this girl had cheats the day he arrived. Yuan Bao said his points are endless. This is literal unlimited luxury support. The young lord of the system realm lives up to his title, he's loaded. Yuan hit the jackpot getting such a powerful system to bind to her voluntarily. Yuan Bao's line, spend all you want, I'll support you, is so sweet he barely expends a speck of energy heating noodles. That's the confidence of a top-tier system. Can someone swap places with Yuan? I'd take over her survival grind. You're dreaming there, buddy. Yuan finished every last bite of noodles and drained the soup clean. Burp. So full. Yuan Bao, I'll wash some grapes for you. They're tiny, perfect for popping hole in your mouth. As she spoke, she quickly rinsed the grapes with mineral water, peeled them carefully, and held one out. Fine, I'll try one. Yuan Bao opened his mouth and swallowed the grape whole. It's quite sweet. Yuan Bao said, don't eat more for a while or you'll get indigestion. Got it. I'll go fish up more chests first. I'm still short a few planks. Yuan Bao replied, 6 square meters is far too cramped. Once you put a bed and storage cabinet inside, you won't have space to turn around. I suggest grabbing an extra 20 planks to expand the cabin straight to 10 square meters. Can we just upgrade it like that midway through building? Blueprints are rigid, but we don't have to follow them to the letter. If you invest an extra 20 planks during construction, the system automatically expands the floor space to 10 square meters. It's a hidden upgrade option most survivors never find out about. Yuan blinked. How do you know that? Yuan Bao puffed up his round little body. This system is the young lord of the system realm. I know every rule manual of every world by heart. That tip is game-changing. 6 square meters becomes 10. Ordinary survivors don't know, but the system realm young lord does. Yuan hit the jackpot with this system. He heats food and gives building hacks. Yuan immediately revised her plan. I've got 60 planks now, so I'm halfway there. Correct. Time to grind harder. Let's go. Gonna move into the cabin tonight if I can. Hard work was essential, but a little luck never hurt. She folded her hands together and prayed. Mother Lady Luck, bless me with enough planks this afternoon. I'll bet a pack of spicy sticks Lady Luck will grant her wish. Pfft, her title is literally Lady Luck's favorite child. Your bet's meaningless. Her luck was even better in the afternoon than the morning. The 50 iron ingots from earlier had set a lucky tone, and after staying beside Yuan Bao for hours, her stacked luck stat had completely overflowed. Yuan cast her rod faster and faster. The float barely hit the water before twitching. Hauling chests up grew tiring though. Her pitiful 0.1 strength and stamina stats held her back severely. Yuan Bao's heart ached watching sweat bead across her forehead. Take a break. You're leagues ahead of most survivors already. Yuan wiped her sweat, gasping for breath. I'm only ahead because my luck stats maxed out and you're helping me. Slacking off now would be ungrateful. Yuan Bao pressed his tiny mouth tight. Logically, he knew his host was right. She needed to grow stronger fast, otherwise he couldn't bend the rules for her too openly. But emotionally, he couldn't bear seeing her worn out. He wasn't powerful enough yet. He needed to find loopholes in Moxing C's survival rules somehow. Yuan pulled Yuan Bao into her arms and nuzzled her cheek against his fluffy form. Let me cuddle you. Suddenly I've got all my energy back. You got sweat all over me. Haha, now we're both stinky together. Lady Luck never took her eyes off her only daughter. By 3 in the afternoon, she'd gathered all the materials she needed. In total, she'd fished up 1 bronze treasure chest, 1 iron treasure chest, and 4 wooden treasure chests. Bronze chest loot, plus 20 glass, plus 20 charcoal, plus 20 gold coins, plus 1 first aid kit, plus 1 barbecue grill, plus 500 G barbecue seasoning. Iron chest loot, plus 1 green storage cabinet blueprint, plus 20 iron ingots, 5 packs of 100 G edible salt. It wasn't surprising she'd gotten a rare green storage cabinet blueprint from the iron chest, but it struck her odd that the bronze chest hadn't contained a single blueprint. Gold coins are far more valuable than blueprints. Stock up as many as you can. They'll be incredibly useful later, Yuan Bao said meaningfully. Useful how? Yuan stared blankly. Yuan, you have to understand this. Money isn't everything, but it solves 99% of problems in every world. This truth holds true anywhere. Currency exists for trade. Survivors transported from Earth arrived with none of this, which meant... Oh, I get it now. Yuan nodded sagely, pretending she'd caught on. Wait, what do they get? Can someone explain what they're talking about? Gold coins? There's actual currency here? This isn't a game dungeon. Why have money? Yuan Bao said this works in every world, every world? Does Moxing C have native intelligent life? Chilling thought. If only Earth survivors existed, barter would suffice. Currency only makes sense if there are locals. Exactly. None of us from Earth brought gold coins. This money's meant for the natives. When Yuan Bao said they'd be useful later, does that mean we'll trade with Moxing C's indigenous races? I'm dying to find out more now. His line about money solving most problems hints we'll interact with native species eventually. Yuan's hoarding hard currency ahead of time. Only the young lord of the system realm's host could think this far ahead. Yuan nodded so deeply, she must have connected the dots too. No matter what, having gold coins gives her a massive edge trading with natives later. Team Yuan forever, our girls unstoppable. Yuan carefully stowed the gold coins away. She had more than enough planks to start building the cabin. The bronze chest had also yielded most of the parts needed for a water purifier. All she lacked was a sheet of gauze. Yuan tossed her fishing rod down on the raft and exhaled a long breath. She opened the basic cabin blueprint and selected Construct. Construct cabin consumes 100 wood planks, 20 nylon rope. A pop-up option appeared on the build menu. Enable expanded construction? Spend an extra 20 wood planks to expand cabin floor space from 6 square meters to 10 square meters. Yuan tapped yes and positioned the cabin against the rear edge of her raft. 120 planks and 20 meters of nylon rope automatically deducted from her backpack, and a cloud of white mist enveloped the build zone. 10 minutes later, the mist cleared. A brand new wooden cabin stood firmly on the raft. It resembled a classic rural tile-roofed house from Earth, a rectangular floor plan, sloped gabled roof, nearly 3 meters tall. The doors and windows were all crafted from planks, with an interior bolt lock. Anyone outside would have to smash the door down to break in, making nights far safer. The cabin interior was empty, waiting for her to add a bed, storage cabinet, and other furniture. A pendant lamp hung from the ceiling beams, though no switch was visible. The power system likely hadn't unlocked yet. She was genuinely shocked the stingy survival system had gifted her a lamp at all. Yuan stepped inside and turned slowly in the center of the room. 10 square meters, far roomier than she'd expected. Yuan Bao, I officially own a house out on the open sea now, haha. Yuan Bao replied, this is only the start. Someday you'll live in a massive ocean villa. A warm surge of pride welled up inside her. I don't know why, but this makes me want to cry. Wah, it's like we're raising her ourselves. Watching her scavenge supplies bit by bit, and now she's got a proper shelter. It's only been 2 days, yet it feels like years. Sniffle, I'm the one about to cry. My survivor still only has a tiny raft. That sounds truly miserable. Now that the cabin was finished, she planned to craft a storage cabinet next. Her system backpack had long since overflowed with supplies. Storage locker, 100 slots, no fresh keeping function. Crafting materials, wooden plank times 30. Craft time, 1 minute. She placed the newly crafted storage locker in the corner of the wooden cabin and stowed all supplies from the raft inside it. Phew, finally finished. All I'm missing now are a bed, quilt, pillows, and the like, but I haven't unlocked the bed blueprint yet no matter how many crates I open. Yuan Bao, other players have gotten the blueprint. Just buy one from them. It'll save loads of time. You're right, I could trade for one with someone else. Yuan smacked her forehead in chagrin. The idea hadn't crossed her mind at all. She opened the regional chat channel and saw dozens of players running small businesses. Carpenter Zhang, custom wooden beds. Provide 15 wooden planks yourself. Service fee 2 iron ingots. PM to place orders if interested. Random Stranger A. Trade wooden planks for mineral water. 5 planks for 1 bottle. PM to trade. Doball. Custom cooking service. Bring your own ingredients. No seasonings needed. I take 1/5 of the finished food as processing fee. PM for orders. Tailor Oldley. Custom bedding sets. Provide 6 cotton wads plus 4 cloth pieces yourself. Processing fee. 3 cotton wads plus 2 cloth pieces. PM to order. Big Bro who's still top dog. Trade planks for iron ingots. 3 planks per ingot. PM to swap. Selling cloth. 5 cloth pieces for 1 iron ingot. PM if you want some. Yuan scrolled through the messages one by one, her eyes lighting up more and more. Yuan Bao, look, everyone's trading goods and taking custom jobs now. Yuan Bao floated over, glanced at the chat feed, his tone tinged with helpless fondness for her silly little brain. Now that crafting stations are widely available, custom processing services were bound to pop up. That made sense. Yuan counted her blueprints. Aside from the one-time use cabin and water purifier plans, she could craft all other items on commission for others. Tridents and iron axes were powerful weapons with solid attack stats, and storage lockers were an essential craft too. Her system backpack only had a tiny number of slots, nowhere near enough storage space. Better yet, as far as she could tell, she was the only player selling tridents exclusively. Yuan Bao, I want to start my own custom crafting business too. Aren't you already running one? You've sold several tridents already. It's different, those were random casual sales before. I want to open a proper custom workshop and take all kinds of crafting orders. Yuan Bao was pleased by her new resolve. Good thinking, but don't rush to open shop just yet. Get your bed sorted first. We need somewhere to sleep tonight. Yuan nodded and refocused on the regional chat. She messaged Carpenter Zhang privately. Hi, I'd like to order a wooden bed. Can you finish it before dark? Carpenter Zhang, sure thing. Then she messaged Tailor Oldley. Hello, I want to order a full bedding set with 2 pillows. I don't have cotton or cloth, can I trade food for them instead? Tailor Oldley replied quickly. What food are you offering? 20 mini French buns? Mini French buns happen to be one of her least favorite foods. 20's too little, make it 30. 25. Food's still extremely valuable right now. Deal. Please have it ready before nightfall. She had 50 mini buns stockpiled and wasn't short on food, but she wasn't about to let him rip her off blindly. Afterwards, she traded for a piece of gauze via regional chat. Water purifier, desalinates and filters seawater, produces 5L of drinking water daily. Crafting materials, charcoal times 5, glass times 2, gauze times 1. Craft time, 10 minutes. One blueprint can only craft 1 unit. Initiate crafting? Yes! 10 minutes later, Yun set the water purifier beside the storage locker. It stood roughly as tall as a thermos flask, with a funnel-shaped water inlet on top and a small tap spout at the bottom, where containers could be placed to collect fresh drinking water. Now she had no more worries about her water supply. The rest of the afternoon slipped by as she fooled around with Yuan Bao, though unfortunately, she didn't reel in any treasure chests while fishing. For dinner, she simply heated a self-heating hot pot pack. For dessert, she finished off the last of her grapes, sweet and juicy, absolutely delicious. Close to 7 in the evening, her custom wooden bed and full bedding set arrived. The bed was light brown and spacious enough for 2 people, carved with delicate decorative patterns on the headboard, elegant and lovely. Once she moved the bed inside the cabin, barely any floor space remained. She laid out the sheets. The bedding fit her taste perfectly, printed with tiny floral motifs on a creamy white base. The duvet was stuffed thick with cotton, soft as cloud fluff. She lined up the 2 pillows side by side, one for herself and one for Yuan Bao. Yun lay back on the bed, patted the spare pillow, and gestured for Yuan Bao to come over. Yuan Bao floated down and settled his tiny form onto the pillow, which immediately sank into a soft indentation cradling his round belly. How's it feel? Not bad, passable. Yuan Bao, you've worn yourself out today. Get some rest early. Post your custom crafting service in regional chat, and I'll handle orders, trades, and deliveries for you. Yuan's eyes lit up, not bothering with false politeness. That's amazing. Thank you, Yuan Bao, you're the best. Yun posted her service notice to the chat channel. Tong Yuan Dumpling, custom crafting services available, PM for inquiries. Iron Axe, attack +2, durability 100. Service fee, wooden plank ×2, iron ingot ×2. Trident, attack +8, durability 300. Service fee, iron ingot ×8. Storage locker, 100 slots, no fresh keeping. Service fee, wooden plank ×35. She set very modest processing fees, only earning 2 spare materials per craft and 5 extra planks for each storage locker. She hoped plenty of players would place orders. Attack +8? That stat's insane. I'm ordering a trident. Trident with +8 attack? Did I read that right? 300 durability? This weapon'll last ages. Tong Yuan Dumpling? Isn't that the top player selling tridents yesterday? Only 2 planks and 2 iron ingots for an iron axe? What a fair price. Other crafters charge 3 ingots just for labor. Wait a second. Look at the storage locker. 100 slots. Wait. What even is 100 slots? All my combined belongings don't even fill 10 slots. Who even needs a storage locker? No one has that much stuff to store. Miss Tangwan, can I get a bottle of water? I'll send you photos of my abs. Good grief, stop begging in the public channel. Exactly. Anyone who puts in the work hasn't starved or died of thirst yet. Sob sob, I've barely seen a handful of iron ingots and she's already selling storage lockers. The gap between people is unreal. If only they knew I've got a system cheat code. Haha, Yun thought to herself in reply to the chat messages. Yawn. Yun let out a big yawn, tears welling at the corners of her eyes. Yuan Bao urged her, hurry up and sleep. All right, Yuan Bao, I'm off to bed now. Good night. Yuan Bao, good night. The crash of waves seeped through the wooden planks, muffled as if filtered through a dream. The tiny night light that repelled sea monsters cast a faint glowing haze, filling the small cabin with a warm, cozy atmosphere. Yun's fallen asleep, curled up on the soft bed under her quilt, head resting on her custom pillow with Yuan Bao right beside her. Meanwhile you, viewer, sit staring at the live stream screen munching sour lemons out of envy. Us folks back on Blue Planet stuck on hard wooden benches watching the broadcast, my lower back's killing me. She even has a night light for her bedside, perfect vibe and full protection against sea beasts. Yuan Bao curled up next to her pillow like a tiny white orb, so comforting to look at. Is this what they call humans can't compare to system companions? Yuan Bao takes care of trades, accepts orders, crafts weapons, filters troublesome customers for her. Yuan Bao, I play with my host all day, run her business at night, and sleep beside her. This crown princess got it rough. Yuan Bao's my system, my employee, and my roommate all rolled into one. This isn't just a contracted host, he's basically spoiling a little princess rotten. Haha, that comment's brutal. You've dug up all the bamboo shoots on the mountain with that roast. He's not just a system, he's an all-purpose butler, personal bodyguard, and bed warmer. Well, pillow warmer partner. Mom fan here. I'm just relieved Yuan gets a good night's rest. Keep pushing hard tomorrow. A soft smile tugged at Yuan's lips as she clutched a corner of her quilt and drifted off into deep slumber. Yuan Bao floated down beside her pillow and tugged the quilt edge up over her shoulders. He had no fingers, but he could nudge the fabric into place with his round body. Then his night shift began. He responded to private messages, accepted customer orders, and crafted iron axes and tridents. Only a small number of players requested storage lockers. Luckily his essence was pure data, so he felt no fatigue. If Yuan had to handle all this work herself, she'd be swamped beyond belief. More capable hands bear more work, that's just how it was. He needed to figure out a way to fix her poor physical constitution too, otherwise she'd be at a disadvantage dealing with other survivors later. Humans always say girls ought to be raised with every comfort. Whatever others possessed, his host would have. Whatever others lacked, his host would still receive. He held an endless surplus of system points, and any problem solvable with points was no trouble at all. It seemed he needed to reach out to a few old acquaintances first. The rules of star moxing still restricted his power far too heavily. The pale blue glow of the nightlight spilled over Yuan's face veiled in thin mist. Yuan Bao dimmed the lamp slightly, and once he confirmed her breathing was slow and steady, proof of deep sleep, he slowly floated up from the pillow. He passed straight through the wooden cabin walls and out onto the raft. The sea stretched pitch black into the distance, faint glimmers flickering across the water hinting at hidden threats. While tending to Yuan's trades, he sank his system consciousness into the inter-system chat channel. The channel functioned just like a regular group chat for ordinary people. Most systems showed they were occupied with their hosts, while a handful chatted casually. Cultivation Realm System 5187. I'm this close to losing it. My host failed his tribulation ascension again, and I have to burn points to exchange spirit stones and healing pills for him. I'm worn out. Interstellar System 007. Haha, tough luck. Hosts from your cultivation realm burn through points non-stop. Unlike ours, just grant them a strong physique and you can leave them to fend for themselves. Apocalypse System 4444. Don't even get me started. My host nearly had his neck bitten clean off by a zombie today. My core processing unit nearly flatlined. Rebinding a new host costs a mountain of points. Omega. Reconstruction System 9527. I've got it pretty good, honestly. My host has unshakable willpower, clear goals, and a sharp mind. The resistance force against evil factions is fully assembled, and our technological powers on track to surpass rival forces. Feels like my core mission's nearly complete. Proud emoji. Yuan Bao didn't rush to reply. After scanning which systems were active in the chat, he slowly typed a line. Realm System 666 Yuan Bao. Good evening, everyone. The chat channel fell silent for several seconds before erupting into chaos. Cultivation System 5187? Apocalypse System 4444. Why does your system ID have a custom suffix tag? Aren't all our system serial numbers fixed permanently? Yuan Bao puffed out his tiny form, speaking proudly. Realm System 666 Yuan Bao. My host's nothing like yours. She says I'm one of a kind and named me Yuan Bao. Adding this custom suffix only took a minor system tweak. Wealth God System 888. Come on bro. Spill. How many points did that cost you? Realm System 666 Yuan Bao. Nothing major, only 800,000. Cultivation System 5187 practically wailed in shock. Cultivation System 5187? What, that's nothing? Those points would have leveled my host straight from Foundation Establishment to Nascent Soul Realm. Interstellar System 007. Speaking of which, 666. Why haven't the main system dragged you back to official duty yet? Before Yuan Bao could answer, another message popped up. Wealth God System 888. Words gotten around our crown prince ran off from official duties to have fun. But the star Moxing survival system said your human host's potential rating is F. Cultivation system 5187. What? F? Is that even a real tier? Yuanbao couldn't stand hearing Yuan belittled and shot back immediately. Realm system 666. You lot know nothing. F is only temporary. Her potential is boundless, and one day her radiance will light up every corner of the star sea. Reconstruction system 9527. That's fair to say. The fact she qualified for star Moxing survival trials with an F evaluation alone proves her fate's extraordinary. It's highly likely Blue Planet's Heavenly Tao has placed its biggest bet on her. Interstellar System 007. Precisely. Star Moxing's only evacuated most of Blue Planet's population under the guise of survival trials, but everyone knows it's just early preparation. After all, no human born from that great nation on Blue Planet is ever ordinary. Realm System 666 Yuanbao, 5187, do me a favor and craft a set of magical robes for me. Cultivation System 5187, why would a system need magical robes? You can't wear them. Realm System 666 Yuanbao, not for me, custom tailored for my host. Interstellar System 007, even if you craft them, there's no guarantee you can deliver them to Star Moxing. Star Moxing's Heavenly Tao signed a pact with Blue Planets. Outside forces and cultivation realm artifacts are heavily restricted. Realm System 666 Yuanbao, rest easy. Both Heavenly Taos will turn a blind eye. They all want my host to grow stronger quickly, so trivial, harmless aid like this won't bother them. Realm System 666 Yuanbao at Cultivation System 5187 points are no issue. Use the absolute finest materials possible. I want top-tier triple-function robes inscribed with formation arrays, defensive shielding, self-healing, and boosted combat prowess. Cultivation System 5187. If you're that set on it, I'll spare no effort crafting them. Supreme triple-function magical robes require materials including 10,000-year ice silk, black tortoise carapace, Qilin blood. Those raw materials alone cost 500,000 points. My manual crafting fee is another 100,000, plus 200,000 to open a cross-realm delivery channel to your location. Total, 800,000 points flat. Realm System 666 Yuanbao, no problem. I'll transfer the points over right away. Use only premium materials and finish as fast as possible, ideally before my Yuan finishes her 7-day new player trial period. Realm System 666 Yuanbao, also send over a spirit fruit that heals congenital physical deficiencies in humans. Cultivation System 5187, consider it done. I've got a stock of spirit-nurturing fruit specifically meant to mend innate frailty. This one's on the house as a free bonus. I'll ship it alongside the robes once complete. The trade settled, Yuanbao quickly transferred 800,000 system points to System 5187. Wealth God System 888. Whoa, where'd you get that many points? Didn't you run away from your official post? Didn't the main system freeze your point account? Apocalypse System 4444. Yeah, you wouldn't have embezzled official funds, would you? Yuanbao let out a dismissive huff. Realm System 666 Yuanbao. This Crown Prince completed countless high-rank missions back in the system realm. My accumulated reserves are beyond your imagination. The old bureaucrats tried convincing the main system to lock my account, but even if they did, I've got multiple backup vaults. TCH, petty tricks. He muted the chat channel's notification sounds, mentally listening to the other systems spiral into shock. Apocalypse System 4444. Sovereign, please take me under your wing. Cultivation System 5187. Sovereign, spare some points for me. Yuanbao glanced into the cabin at Yuan and curled up fast asleep, wrapped in her quilt like a silkworm cocoon, only a small tuft of fluffy hair peeking out. He sent over her body measurements. Realm System 666 Yuanbao. One more detail. Style the robes in soft light blue shades with delicate matching hair ornaments, elegant and refined. Pattern them after modern casual clothing so she can move freely. Don't forget built-in functions. Automatic self-cleaning, dust-proof, fire and water resistance. Cultivation System 5187. Your list of demands is endless. That'll cost extra. Realm System 666 Yuanbao. Alright, I'll add another 100,000 points as your hard work bonus. Yuanbao transferred the final 100,000 points and was about to close the chat window when a sudden thought struck him. Realm System 666 Yuanbao. Hey, anyone want to see a photo of my host? Apocalypse System 4444. See what exactly? Interstellar System 007. What's interesting about a human? We've all seen plenty. Yuan Bao uploaded 2 photos to the group chat. One of Yuan eating strawberry cake out on the raft, another of her peeling grapes for him. In the picture, the young girl squatted on the wooden raft, bathed in warm sunlight, a smudge of cream lingering at the corner of her mouth, her brilliant bright smile utterly adorable, enough to melt the cold digital core of any system. Yuan Bao kept throwing bitter jabs. Interrealm System 666 Yuan Bao. Sigh, what a hassle. She acts all coquettish with me every single day. Just yesterday she went, thank you Yuan Bao, love you moi, do your hosts ever act cute with you guys? Cultivation System 5187, Apocalypse System 4444, Tycoon System 888. Interrealm System 666 Yuan Bao. She even had someone craft a tiny pillow just for me. Creamy white, all soft and squishy. I get to sleep beside her every night. She's always fretting over whether I'm hungry and peels grapes for me too. Ugh, such a nuisance. This system doesn't need her worrying over me at all. The group chat flooded with envious systems wailing in jealousy. Interrealm System 666 Yuan Bao. Honestly, everyone, when raising a host, you've got to spoil them rotten. Cultivation System 5187. I'm signing off. Gotta go grind spirit stones for that kid. Interstellar System 007. You're just here to show off, aren't you? Tycoon System 888. Obviously. Golden light rippled across Yuan Bao's round fluffy form as it swayed proudly. One by one, the other systems logged off. Yuan Bao closed the group comms and floated back to the small wooden cabin. Yuan was still fast asleep. Yuan Bao nudged its tiny pillow over toward her, then lightly settled onto it, drifting off to dreamland alongside her. Sunlight seeped through cracks in the wooden window, brushing gently against Yuan, only to be instantly disrupted by Yuan Bao nuzzling her awake. The fluffy orb rubbed all over her body before plopping down onto her face. Wake up, Yuan. You're crushing me. I can barely breathe. Once Yuan Bao lifted its round body off her, all traces of sleep vanished from Yuan. She stretched one hand out from under the quilt, waving it blindly through the air. Unable to find Yuan Bao, she pulled its pillow into her arms, rolled over, and tried to fall back asleep. Yuan Bao spoke up. I earned over 2,000 iron ingots and more than 1,000 planks for you last night. You're just gonna sleep through it? Don't you want to check? Yuan's eyes flew wide open, glowing like 2 tiny light bulbs, and she shot upright. 2,000 iron ingots and 1,000 planks? Yuan Bao, you're amazing. I'd be lost without you, sniff sniff. Yuan grabbed the floating Yuan Bao and rubbed her cheek hard against its soft form. Yuan Bao, squished out of shape from the rubbing, replied calmly, stay composed. You've barely seen the full extent of my abilities. LOL poor Yuan Bao, it's all deformed now. Yuan Bao must have taken so many orders it's worn out, even though it doesn't have hands. Yuan struck it rich overnight. When will my favorite survivor get this much luck? Same +1 same plus 10,086. After fooling around with Yuan Bao for a while, Yuan finally calmed down. She washed up, chugged a big bottle of drinking water, and scarfed down 2 small bread rolls for breakfast. She opened her storage cabinet, which was now stacked full of iron ingots and planks. The night before, Yuan Bao had helped her sell 1,024 tridents, 638 iron axes, and 127 storage crates. Altogether, they'd earned 2,686 iron ingots and 1,273 planks. Adding the dozens of basic materials she'd already had in her backpack, there was no exaggeration. She was undeniably loaded. Yuan Bao suggested, Yuan, your raft and cabin are far too small now. We've got enough materials to expand them first. Yuan pulled up the construction menu and tallied the resources needed for upgrades, her grin stretching from ear to ear. Expanding the raft from 20 square meters to 50 required 100 planks and 100 iron ingots. A further expansion to 100 square meters needed another 500 planks and 500 iron ingots. Upgrading the small 10 square meter cabin to 50 square meters cost 400 planks. Completing all expansions in one go would take 600 iron ingots and 1,000 planks, materials she had more than enough of. Yuan tapped rapidly across the upgrade panel and hit one-click construction. Pale blue light enveloped the entire raft, and Yuan waited quietly for 10 minutes. When the glow faded, she stood atop her brand new raft, facing a brand new cabin. The cabin occupied a large central stretch of the raft. Its 50 square meters were split into 3 rooms. The middle room served as the bedroom, still furnished with her wooden bed, storage cabinets, and water purifier. To the left lay a kitchen fitted with the traditional rural stove and chimney. Though lacking cookware, it still looked empty. A small door off the bedroom's right side led to a separate shower room designed with wet and dry zones. A vanity counter stood inside, opposite an empty space reserved for a toilet that still needed to be installed. She didn't even want to think about how she'd handled her personal business these past few days. Thankfully, the Sky live stream censored all private moments. Yuan wandered around the rooms, touching and brushing against every surface, letting out quiet giggles every few seconds. Yuan Bao, look. This is my territory I built with my own hands, haha. Yuan Bao sighed, unable to stand her overjoyed, easily pleased demeanor. This host had far too low a threshold for happiness. Oh well, let her enjoy the moment for now. Yuan had no clue about the surprise Yuan Bao had prepared for her the night before. While processing custom crafting orders, she kept fishing for treasure chests. No other weapon matched the cost performance of her tridents right now, so orders poured in nonstop. For most survivors, spending 8 iron ingots for a weapon with 8 attack points was a trivial bargain. The wooden and iron treasure chests she reeled in yielded balanced hauls, mostly daily toiletries and instant food. Nearing midday, she prepared to reel in her line for lunch when her float suddenly plummeted sharply. Yuan lit up with delight at the unexpected catch. She hauled the line fast, and 2 fish, 1 gold-scaled, 1 silver-scaled, burst out of the water, flopping wildly onto the raft. Slap, slap, Yuan rushed over and smacked each fish once, instantly silencing their thrashing. 2 system prompts popped up from the survival system: silver-scaled fish, tender flesh with minimal bones. Consuming it fully restores stamina. Golden-scaled fish, fine-textured flesh with abundant bones. Consuming it grants 100 experience points. Seeing those impressive stats, Yuan's eyes sparkled. Yuan Bao, I'm eating this golden-scaled fish first. I'll grill it. Luckily, I found a barbecue rack earlier. Thanks to all the treasure chests she'd fished up these past days, she'd hit level 5. The first 5 levels only required 20 experience points each, but every level after level 5 demanded a full 100 points. This random catch would shoot her straight up a level. She'd hit the jackpot. Yuan Bao glanced at the golden-scaled fish, sounding hesitant. Are you sure you want to grill it yourself? Doubt thickened every word. Yuan pouted. Of course. I've got all the barbecue seasonings too, don't worry. My cooking skills are top tier. Very well then. Go ahead and put on your show. Yuan fumbled clumsily to scale the half-unconscious golden fish and gut it. Her movements were awkward, but she managed to clean the fish thoroughly. She rinsed it inside and out 3 times, rubbed salt all over, then dusted on a layer of barbecue seasoning. The red spice powder spread evenly across its pale flesh, looking halfway presentable. She lit charcoal and set the fish onto the grill successfully. Everything seemed to be going smoothly. The fish skin tightened slowly over the coals, emitting a faint sizzle as a savory aroma drifted out. Yuan stared at the fish, swallowing hard. Then she decided it needed more salt and sprinkled another handful. Next, she thought the seasoning lacked enough heat and added another dash of spice mix. Yuan convinced herself she had natural chef talent, flicking seasonings with dramatic, effortless flair. Viewers back on Planet Blue held far different opinions. I'll bet she oversalted it for sure. It'll be raw in the middle. Mark my words. It'll burn to a crisp. Anyone betting Yuan cooks it perfectly? Maybe dial back the blind admiration a little. It's almost done, look. Yuan Bao hovered nearby, watching closely. Yuan, it should be cooked through by now. Yuan suspected the inside was still raw and left it grilling a little longer, only to watch it burn. She scrambled to flip the fish, but it was too late. The skin charred black, its tail curled up, and its eyes hollowed into 2 black pits. A bitter burnt stench filled the air, mixed with harsh smoky fumes from overcooked salt and spices. Yuan lifted the fish off the grill and set it on a plate. It was still hot, but barely recognizable as a fish. Patchy black and yellow char covered its skin, the flesh dried out, and a thick crust of congealed seasoning coated the surface. She poked it gently with chopsticks. Before she could reach the meat, the seasoning shell crumbled apart. Yuan Bao floated down beside the plate, glanced at the charred fish, then at Yuan, and delivered a blunt verdict. How is this any different from charcoal? Ignoring him, Yuan picked up the least mangled chunk of meat under everyone's watchful eyes, blew on it, and popped it into her mouth. Salty. Unbearably salty. Not just regular salty, like swallowing a spoonful of pure salt, paired with a burning spicy kick. The fish flesh was dry and stringy, heavy with a bitter, smoky, burnt aftertaste. The only saving grace was its crisp, charred texture. At least she didn't bite into any fatty chunks. She gritted her teeth and forced it down. Yuan Bao stared at her sympathetically. Just stop eating it. You look miserable. We can outsource cooking the other fish. She tried to save face. This is 100 experience points. Once I finish it, I'll hit level 6. She picked up another chunk and struggled to swallow it. I won't make you taste this bizarre fish, she added, not wanting to seem heartless. Yuan Bao shot her a sideways glance. How thoughtful of you to spare me. Hee hee, she grinned proudly and stuffed a big mouthful of fish into her mouth, then froze. A sharp pointed object stuck in her throat. Every swallow felt like a needle stabbing her windpipe. Yuan Yuan's voice cracked, thick with pained sobs. I got a bone stuck. Yuan Bao's fluffy white body tensed instantly. Stuck on what? A fish bone. The golden scaled fish had tons of bones, like the system said. Yuan clutched her throat, tears welling up. She tried to speak, but every word sent a sharp stab through her throat. Panicked, Yuan Bao circled frantically in front of her, its white form glowing anxious red. It pulled mineral water out of her backpack and set it before her. Drink fast, wash the bone down your esophagus. Gulp, gulp, thank goodness it's gone. The bone washed away. She collapsed onto the raft, unable to stand for ages. Yuan Bao said abruptly, go fish for treasure chests right now. Yuan blinked in confusion. Huh? You just choked on a bone. That's a misfortune event. Your luck stat will activate at full power immediately. Hurry and fish. Yuan's throat still throbbed, fogging her brain, but she caught the words luck stat. She dropped her chopsticks at once, grabbed her fishing rod, and cast the line out to sea. The hook sank the second it hit the water, and a strong tug pulled tight. Yuan yanked back sharply, and a burst of silver light exploded across the ocean's surface. A silver treasure chest landed on the raft, triggering a system announcement. Survival system announcement. Congratulations to Wan Tangwan for obtaining the first advanced silver chest across all MO star seas. Experience points plus 100 broadcast globally? Yes/no. Yuan's scalp tingled staring at the global broadcast option. From years of reading online novels, she knew the two choices carried vastly different consequences. Broadcasting might unlock extra rewards, but it would also paint a target on her back. Survivors would cross paths with one another eventually in the later stages of survival. Passing up the broadcast might net her nothing at all. System, will this broadcast be anonymous or display my name? Survivor broadcasts default to real usernames once confirmed. Please make your choice promptly. I choose. Yuan glanced instinctively at Yuan Bao, hoping to ask for advice. Before Yuan Bao could signal anything, another system prompt popped up. Survivor Wan Tangwan must choose independently. Cheating will void your selection. Yuan steeled herself. System, I opt for the global broadcast. The moment the words left her mouth, the familiar robotic system voice echoed everywhere. Congratulations to Survivor Wan Tangwan from District 888 for unlocking the world's first advanced silver chest. Rewards will be distributed shortly. Keep pushing forward, all other survivors. Congratulations to Survivor Wan Tangwan from District 888 for unlocking the world's first advanced silver chest. Rewards will be distributed shortly. Keep pushing forward, all other survivors. Congratulations to Survivor Wan Tangwan from District 888 for unlocking the world's first advanced silver chest. Rewards will be distributed shortly. Keep pushing forward, all other survivors. The system repeated the critical announcement 3 times for global broadcast. Survivor Wan Tangwan has unlocked a hidden bonus reward, Fearless Pioneer. Those who blaze new trails deserve the world's will's favor. Reward issued, please collect from your system backpack. She hadn't expected an extra bonus reward. The high praise implied the reward would be far from ordinary. Soft light settled in her palm to form a card printed with a young mage girl gripping an ornate wand across her chest. 6 words were etched across its surface, Magic Element Affinity. It was clearly tied to the level 10 class specialization unlock. Yuan Bao let out a surprised hum. I didn't think MO Star's survival system would be this generous. Yuan tilted her head. Why's that? Once you hit level 10 and pick a mage class, Using this card will drastically speed up your cultivation progress. It was an incredible windfall. She'd figured even if she went through with the broadcast, Yuan Bao would keep her safe from mortal danger if other survivors found her. She never imagined such a valuable bonus would come her way. Yuan carefully stored the card in her system backpack. Keeping it on hand was the safest option. Before she could even catch her breath, the regional chat channel erupted. Global broadcast? District 888? Tangwon? Advanced silver chest. The first in the whole world. Tong Yuan's the big shot selling tridents, right? How is her luck this insane? I haven't even seen a bronze chest yet, and she's already cracking silver advanced ones. Plus 100 EXP? That's enough to jump multiple levels instantly, saves so much grinding time. Her survival game and mine are two completely different games. Legend 1 Tangwon, please take me under your wing. We're both from District 888, why is the gap this huge? Does anyone have coordinates for Tong Yuan's raft? I want to go check it out. Calm down up there, sea monsters roam the waters, you might not make it back alive. Can't a guy just ask? Tangwon, what did you get from the silver chest? Spill the details? Why would she tell you? Who even are you? A few skeptical comments surfaced, but they were quickly drowned out by waves of envy and awe. Yuan's private message icon started flashing non-stop again. This time it held no trade orders, only random greetings, friend requests, and team-up invitations. She ignored every single one, too busy to waste time on empty chatter. Viewers back on Planet Blue shared her excitement. Global broadcast. Yuan's on the worldwide feed. First advanced silver chest on all MO Star Seas. Yuan is absolutely insane. Other survivors I follow are still munching bread, and Yuan just got singled out for global praise. Wait, did anyone catch the reward name? Magic Element Affinity? Sounds ridiculously powerful. Yuan Bao said it speeds up mage cultivation. Yuan will skyrocket once she hits level 10. As a mom fan I'm tearing up. She choked on a fishbone, and now her luck turned around. I'm calling this the plot twist of the century. She was so torn making that choice, craving rewards, but scared of drawing attention. She chose the broadcast anyway and got an even better reward. That's the payoff for bravery. Fearless pioneer, the system gave her such high praise. But everyone's eyes are locked on her now too. She's got Yuan Bao, what's there to fear? Still, better to stay vigilant against others. The thrilling moment had arrived. She was about to open this silver treasure chest any second. Silvery radiance flooded her eyes, dazzlingly bright. It was slightly larger and far more exquisite than the bronze treasure chests. She followed the same ritual as always, silently praying in her heart, "Goddess of luck, bless me." She then hugged Yuan Bao and rubbed it gently. A flicker of nervousness stirred within Yuan. She wiped the sweat off her palms hard on her trousers, stepped close to the chest, and laid her hands on its surface. Silver treasure chest opened, rewards obtained. 1x blue smart toilet, 1x blue self-digesting trash can, 1x blue power system blueprint, 1x purple energy stone, 1x hot pot gift pack. It seemed the goddess of luck favored her as always. She'd actually gotten 3 blue tier items and 1 purple tier item from the chest. There was food and daily supplies, but the smart toilet was what she craved most. No one could imagine how awkward her trips to relieve herself had been these past few days. She didn't know how others felt, but for her, she'd wished she could vanish off MO Star C entirely. This was such a stroke of luck. She'd just been thinking the shower room had space reserved for a toilet, and now she'd gotten one, and a smart model at that. She pulled up the system description: auto-flushing, automatic deodorization, warm water cleansing, warm air drying. Automatically connects to seawater once a placement spot is selected, built-in water storage tank with automatic refilling function. Truly worthy of its blue tier rank, it lived up to every bit of its reputation. Wow, a smart toilet, this is so convenient. Haha, everyone else's relieving themselves out in the open, yet Yuan already has a dedicated private restroom fixture. Have I been watching too many live streams that my eyes are playing tricks? A single silver chest dropped 3 blue and 1 purple item. I heard it's extremely rare to get blueprints matching a chest's tier. How did she even pull a purple tier item? New viewer up top? This is just standard luck for our Yuan. Don't you know she's the goddess of luck's favorite? If she can't get it, no one can. Yuan picked up the self-digesting trash can and checked its system notes. Decomposes all waste. She wondered if all waste meant anything tossed inside would be treated as rubbish, but she wasted no time tossing the domestic garbage piling up in the raft's corner. If she left it any longer, flies would swarm. A faint buzzing hum echoed once the trash landed inside. In less than a minute, the can was spotlessly clean again. It was incredibly handy. Yuan placed the power system blueprint onto the crafting table, and a list of required materials popped up instantly. Small power system blue supplies electricity to the raft and all attached facilities. Crafting materials: 1 times energy stone, 20 times copper ingots, 50 times iron ingots, 10 times coils. Craft time: 1 hour. Description: a foundational infrastructure. Unlocks access to more electrical appliances once built. So the purple tier energy stone was meant for this. She already had all other materials except coils. She'd check the regional chat channel later to find some. Gurgle, gurgle. Yuan's stomach churned so badly she nearly jumped. She grabbed the smart toilet and sprinted toward the shower room of her small wooden cabin. Yuan Bao, keep an eye out for anyone selling coils for me first. I've got an urgent matter to take care of. Fine. Yuan Bao muttered to itself, glancing at the plate that had held grilled fish earlier. I bet she ate something that upset her stomach. Half an hour later, Yuan leaned against the wooden wall, legs trembling as she stepped out slowly. That's such a relief. I can't believe how miserable I was these past few days. I'm honestly so tough. Yuan boasted to herself. Yuan Bao shook its head speechlessly, its tone all-knowing. From now on, take all your meals to someone called Dough Master in the regional chat. Give her your ingredients, and she'll cook for you. Yuan opened her mouth to argue, but the lingering stinging ache in her throat reminded her she was utterly hopeless at cooking. All right then, at least I'll have more time to fish for treasure chests, she said, scrambling to save face. The live stream chat was bursting with laughter. Yuan trying to save face like that is hilarious, haha. The person above's laughing is hurting my eyes. Yuan Bao's all-seeing gaze, this crown prince is speechless. To be honest, even sea monsters would think twice before eating her grilled fish. Poor Yuan Bao, acting as customer service and handling its host's meals too. Dough Master? Who's that? Sounds like a master chef. Yuan's finally outsourcing her cooking, smart move. Yuan opened the regional chat and typed Dough Master into the search bar. The search result popped up, showing a profile picture of a round white dough ball. It bore a striking resemblance to the white fluffy spirit floating beside her. She kept the thought to herself, though. Tanguan balls. Hi, I'd like to commission some cooking. I have a silver scale fish that fully restores stamina when eaten. Dough Master, silver scale fish? Its flesh is incredibly tender. Steamed brings out its special buff effects. I can cook it for you, but I'll take 1/5 of the fish as processing fee. Is that acceptable? Tanguan balls. 1/5? Dough Master, just the head section, which makes up roughly 1/5 of the whole fish. You keep the rest of the meat to eat. Yuan froze. She only wanted the tiny head section? She'd never liked fish heads anyway. This person was far too honest. Yuan quickly agreed. Tanguan balls, that works. It's a deal. She sent over the entire silver scale fish. The other party confirmed receipt almost immediately, saying the finished dish would be delivered before dinner. Yuan Bao floated over to glance at the chat log. This person's decent. She only takes the head as payment and won't haggle for extra. Not many people are this fair on MO*C. Yuan nodded, feeling instantly warmer toward Dough Master. She scrolled through the other users' message history and found they'd been offering food crafting services since the very first day, with consistently fair prices and countless positive reviews in the comment section. She typed a new message into the chat box. Tanguan balls. Anyone selling coils? DM me with your asking price if you have some. Barely 3 seconds after sending, the chat channel erupted. It's Tanguan balls. The top-tier lucky player. Is this the Tanguan balls who opened the silver treasure chest? Does the great player need coils? I don't have any, but can I cling to your coattails? Same here, clinging to the great player +1. What even are coils? A new material? I've never seen one. Tanguan balls notice me. I can ask around to find someone with coils. Great player, need a sidekick? I'm good at spamming 666 and have abs. Can everyone act normal? She's here to buy materials, not recruit followers. Then let me ask normally, Tanguan balls, you taking on apprentices? Yuan watched the messages flood the screen nonstop, the corners of her mouth twitching. Yuan Bao floated over to peek at the channel, a hint of mischief in its tone. You're quite the celebrity now. Truly, old sayings never lie. Fame brings trouble just as fat brings slaughter to pigs. Yuan took a deep breath, ignoring all the messages begging to be her followers or apprentices, and reposted her request. Tangwon balls, looking for coils. DM with your price if you have stock. The chat calmed down a little, yet several private messages still rolled in. Some begged for handouts, others shared sob stories, and many just wanted to add her as a friend. Yuan skimmed all of them without replying. Then she spotted a message from someone who actually had coils. Cold Moon, I have coils. How many do you need? Yuan's eyes lit up, and she replied at once. Tangwon balls, how many do you have? I need 10. Cold Moon, I've got 10. What'll you trade me for them? Yuan thought it over. Coils were a rare material with no fixed market price, so she asked, Tangwon balls, do you want food? Or basic materials like planks and iron ingots? The other user fell silent for a few seconds. Cold Moon, water. You name your offer. It was clear Cold Moon was a kind soul. Yuan had no shortage of water now, yet many others in this region struggled to get it, so she let Yuan set the trade terms. Tangwon balls, coils are still pretty rare right now. Would 5 bottles of mineral water work for you? The reply came instantly. Cold Moon, deal. The trade wrapped up quickly. Cold Moon sent over the 10 coils, and Yuan sent the water over in return, no extra words exchanged. From her username, Cold Moon was likely a girl, yet she came across as aloof and rarely spoke in the regional chat. Yuan Bao said, she's a good person. She's a soldier from Blue Star with outstanding combat skills. You should build a rapport with her. Yuan looked confused. You just said Do Master was nice a minute ago, now you're praising someone else? How do you even know all this? Yuan Bao sighed, choosing to humor its clueless host. I can filter data. You'll have plenty of team missions later, so I'm helping you pick reliable teammates ahead of time. Yuan was overwhelmed with gratitude and pulled Yuan Bao into a tight hug. Yuan Bao, you're the best. You're right, I'm so clumsy, I really need dependable teammates. If teaming up became necessary later, having a capable, upright, unready partner would be an incredible stroke of luck in this alien world. She'd always held immense admiration and respect for soldiers, those who defended their homeland, charged into danger first, and selflessly served the people. Though she lacked talent herself, she deeply respected those who dedicated themselves to others. Cold Moon? That name rings a bell somewhere. Wait a second, Cold Moon, isn't she the one the government released info on a few days ago? Who? What are you guys talking about? From the official survivor list they posted recently, several were marked Special Focus. Cold Moon's one of them. I remember her profile says she's a member of the Eastern Theater Women's Special Forces Unit. Whoa, a female Special Forces soldier. Is that real? I never saw that list. It's on the official national live stream. They showcase all key monitored survivors with official commentary. Yuan's on there too. It's true, I follow the official commentary channel. Cold Moon's real name is MOU, codename Cold Moon. Specializes in special operations, South rank close quarters combat, S rank wilderness survival. This is what a truly powerful person looks like, skilled yet unassuming. Yuan's luck is insane. She just went to buy materials and ran into a hidden top-tier expert. Yuan Bao mentioned there'll definitely be team survival missions later. They might end up partnering. Yes! I love both of them. Yuan times Cold Moon forever. Can't wait to see them together. You guys move fast. Already came up with a ship name for them. Naturally, us ship fans are lightning quick. One skilled at fighting, the other's lucky enough to open all the treasure chests. This duo's unbeatable. While Yuan Bao always plans ahead for Yuan, such a caring system. The best system in all the realms. Maybe I'll make a group chat. It'll make trading and communicating easier, Yuan suggested. Yuan Bao nodded. That's a good idea. Invite Do Master in too. Based on my data analysis, she'll most likely unlock food buff-related talents once she picks her occupation. Wow, what talents will I get? Yuan asked immediately after her moment of awe. Yuan Bao replied, I can't tell you that yet, but rest assured, it'll be something great. Reassured, Yuan sent friend requests to Do Master and Cold Moon, which were accepted almost instantly. She created a group chat and pulled the two users in, naming it casually, Friendly Mutual Aid Group. She sent a message. Tangwon balls. Hi everyone, I'm Yuan. I can craft trident weapons and various daily supplies if anyone needs them. Replies popped up in the group right away. Do Master. Hello, I'm Shinshuding. I specialize in cooking. Feel free to reach out if you need food prepared. Cold Moon, I'm MOU. I have a large stock of assorted weapons. Come to me if you need any. The three briefly introduced themselves and exchanged greetings before each went back to their own tasks. Her luck held steady through the afternoon, and the sea lay calm without a trace of sea monsters or sharks other survivors had warned about. Perhaps the silver treasure chest had set a lucky precedent. Yuan's fishing rod barely stopped moving. She fished up 4 wooden treasure chests in a row, plus 2 iron chests and 2 bronze chests. Wooden and iron chests mostly dropped food and basic living supplies. Bronze chests yielded higher-tier foundational materials, glass, charcoal, briquettes, and more. She also gained 40 gold coins, bringing her total to 60. She still had no clue what the coins were used for, but Yuan Bao told her they'd be vital later, so saving them was the safest bet. Notably, a huge portion of the supplies she'd opened were cold weather gear. On top of her existing down jacket and fuzzy slippers, she'd gained 2 pairs of wool socks, a knit hat, 2 large packs of heat patches, and even a coal stove that could both heat the space and cook meals. Yuan tried on the knit hat. It was far too big, the brim sliding straight over her eyebrows. 2 white fluffy ears stuck up on top, making her look exactly like a cute little rabbit. Yuan Bao floated around her, laughing nonstop. "What are you laughing at?" Yuan demanded, annoyed. "This crown prince is not laughing." It was clearly a lie if it had resorted to calling itself crown prince. "You definitely are. I'm a system. How could I laugh? Show me how it's done." Yuan was stumped. Without a second thought, she pounced and grabbed Yuan Bao, kneading it roughly, and glared with a mock menacing expression. "Now do you know how scary I can be?" Yuan Bao chuckled indulgently. I get it. Let's get back to important matters first." Yuan instantly grew serious, having already guessed what the afternoon's haul of treasure chests implied. The pattern was plain to see. Her morning catches had mostly been food and daily essentials, yet nearly everything she'd fished up that afternoon was cold-resistant gear. This was an obvious hint. She turned to Yuan Bao. "Yuan Bao, I think the temperature will drop sharply once the new player protection period ends, and it'll probably stay cold for a long time." Yuan Bao didn't answer right away. It scanned all the cold weather supplies, then floated down to rest on Yuan's shoulder, its tone turning somber. "It's not a possibility, it's certain." Yuan pulled the knit hat off her head and set it on her lap, mindlessly twisting its 2 fuzzier flaps between her fingers. Yuan Bao spoke gravely. "There's an unwritten rule governing supply drops for survival missions. The system refreshes cold weather supplies in advance when a disaster is coming, to give survivors time to prepare. This rule holds true across every world. When you first arrived here, you mostly fished up food to sustain your basic survival needs. These cold-proof items now are meant to help you weather the coming hardship." Yuan Bao paused. It seemed the survival system and MO*C intended to leave survivors a fighting chance. They wouldn't allow mass casualties. Still, she wondered why they'd chosen to save humanity from Blue Star. "I need to warn the others," Yuan said as she opened the regional chat. "Tangwan balls, everyone, pay close attention. I've opened an unusually large amount of cold weather gear today. This doesn't feel like random drops, it's a clear system hint. I suspect temperatures will plummet fast once the new player protection period expires. Please stock up on warm supplies to prepare ahead of time." Fearing her message would quickly get buried, she reposted it 3 times in a row. For a few seconds after sending, the chat channel fell silent. Then messages flooded in. "The great player Tangwan Balls is issuing a warning. A system hint? All I've fished up these past 2 days are short-sleeved shirts. Did I just get terrible luck and miss the drops? It's not bad luck. Most people can't get this much warm gear. Tangwan Balls is a total lucky god. I just checked my backpack. I've got 2 thick socks I completely ignored before it's true. A temperature drop is highly likely. I fished up a thick quilt today too. Thanks for the heads up. I'm going to sort through my supplies right now." Tangwan Balls is so kind, figuring this out and warning everyone. "Thank you, great player." Yet dissenting voices also appeared. "How would you know? The survival system hasn't announced anything. You think you're smarter than the system." Her guess might be wrong. If everyone wastes their resources trading for warm gear and the temperature never drops, will she take responsibility? Exactly. Stop spreading unnecessary panic. She's just a regular player acting like an official spokesperson. Yuan ignored the trolls and simply posted her message, leaving it up to them whether to believe her or not. She closed the regional chat and opened her small private group. "Tangwan the glutinous rice ball at everyone. Has anyone checked the regional chat? I'm talking about the temperature drop I warned everyone about. I am Doe, saw it. Same here. I crafted loads of cold-proof gear today, cotton-padded jackets, gloves, hot water bags. You were right. This survival system must be sending us a warning. Cold Moon, I got fewer supplies on my end. Just 2 pairs of boots and 1 overcoat. I believe you. Tangyuan the glutinous rice ball. Stock up on whatever you can in advance. If anyone runs short, speak up in the group. I've got spares here. I am dough, will do. I've got extra seasonings and dry rations. Anyone who needs some, just say the word. Cold Moon, I need iron ingots. I'll trade for any spares you have. Tangyuan the glutinous rice ball. Loads of them, no problem. Yuan sent 100 iron ingots to Moyue and received a whole carton of Magic Master instant noodles in return, every flavor she loved included. She carried the coal stove into her bedroom and set it not far from her wooden bed. The cast iron stove was heavy as lead. It had a cooking opening on top to hold pots, and a small hinged door on the side for feeding fuel like planks of wood. She stacked the honeycomb coal in the kitchen corner for easy access. Down jackets, socks, hats, and other warm layers went into the storage cabinet, ready to grab the second temperatures plummeted. By the time she finished all this, dusk was falling fast. Viewers back on Earth had also seen Yuan's warning, and the live comment section buzzed even more loudly than the regional chat. Yuan went out to warn others. She's such a kind soul. I can't stand some idiots out there. Why can't they accept a well-meaning heads up? Believe it or leave it, you can't save fools from their own recklessness with kind words. This little group's full of warmth. People can only survive long-term by looking out for each other. Yuan still felt a twinge of unease. She feared countless people would brush off her warning and fail to prepare, leading to irreversible disasters. Yuan Bao picked up on her troubled mood at once. Yuan, you've done everything you possibly could, and that's more than enough. As for those who refuse to listen, reality will teach them a harsh lesson. Her worries eased after hearing Yuan Bao's words. She smiled sheepishly. Thanks, Yuan Bao. I just hate the thought of so many fellow survivors losing their lives over something preventable. I've always suspected this survival system has an ulterior motive. I just can't figure out what it is yet. Yuan Bao said, don't dwell on it for now. Focus on getting through each day as it comes. All will be revealed in time. You're right. As she spoke, a sharp pang of hunger hit her. Just then, a private message pinged. I am Doe. Tangwan babe, your fish is ready. A trade request popped up from the sender. Yuan opened it to see a plate of steamed silver-scaled fish. The whole fish sat intact, neatly topped with shredded ginger and spring onions, submerged in clear broth dotted with a few drops of sesame oil. She could almost smell the fresh seafood aroma through the screen. Yuan accepted the trade. A dish labeled steamed silver-scaled fish appeared in her backpack. Its description read, restores stamina to full 100 upon consumption, exquisite flavor. Carefully, she pulled the plate out of her inventory and set it on the wooden kitchen counter. She picked out the sparse tiny bones, picked up a chunk of tender white flesh, and took a small bite. The fish meat was as soft as silken tofu, melting the moment it touched her tongue. It tasted sweet and fresh, not a hint of fishy odor. The subtle fragrance of ginger and spring onion had seeped deep into the flesh, and the broth coating it was seasoned to perfect saltiness. Compared to the charred golden scaled fish she'd burned for lunch, the two dishes were worlds apart. She ate bite after bite, finishing the entire fish in minutes until only the skeleton remained. Her stamina shot straight back up to 100 from the measly 30 it had dropped to after struggling with fish bones at noon, leaving her feeling fully recharged. She drank every last drop of broth, held the empty plate, and let out a long, satisfied sigh. Yuan Bao. I'm never cooking for myself again. Leave professional work to professionals. Yuan Bao floated over beside the plate, glanced at the clean fish skeleton, and bobbed its form in approval. From now on, just ask I am Doe to cook your meals. Yuan smiled. She'd fished up multiple treasure chests today, fulfilled hundreds of crafting orders, and made 2 new friends to boot. Tomorrow she'd catch more fish and ask her new acquaintance to prepare them for her. Full and content, Yuan closed her eyes with a grin tugging at her lips. This I am Doe is such a decent person. She only asks for the fish head as processing fee, totally genuine. This fish restores stamina after all. It's understandable she charges less than regular food. Yuan finally got a proper decent meal. That's no small feat. Her stamina's maxed out. She can grind non-stop again tomorrow. Up there speaking, Yuan thinks you're a devil. She fished so many treasure chests today, I bet her stock of planks and iron ingots skyrocketed. She still hasn't built the power system, though she did trade for coils already. No rush, Yuan plans everything step by step. She'll get all the parts she needs eventually. Watching her eat makes the food look so delicious. She's having dinner on Star Moyu, I'm having dinner on Earth. Basically, we shared a meal together if you round it up. Your rounding math is way too generous. Sure enough, Yuan Bao's guidance arrived the very next second.